Tonight's show, we're talking about where the are we headed? And I'm answering all your questions with live readings coming up right now.
It looks like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You like to summon your end table that you do this too.
My God, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You might be hard on your right knee when you're running. Make sure you're not too hard on the right knee.
100%.
Okay.
Honey, I'm a runway walker. Okay.
I don't know what she's showing me flowers. Like, relay them or redo them. These purple flowers.
Oh my God, Scott, the flowers are right there. My orchids are purple. They completely are dead.
Yeah.
Did you even... You nailed
100%.
everything, every single thing. Listen, everyone, this guy...
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
He doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Camera's psychic who first questioned Brooke's cancer.
Scott Cruz.
Oh,
I know it's last
you
name.
You better question yourself. We're here to bring enlightenment, not confusion.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I said, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here? The solution for me is awakening people to the bull.
I agree.
People need to stop being deterred by nonsense. You gotta summon the people.
I don't just come on here and talk or parrot. I'm living it.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on a culture.
Happy Thursday Night Live, everybody. Welcome to the Cruisyverse. How's the week been? How was Gemini season treating you? Huh? Are we feeling a little bit of pep, a little more pep in our step, a little bit more emotion? I have been, slowly but surely, because I know a lot of people have been having a heavy past couple weeks, but like it's picking up the momentum too for that. So like I said, I've been saying for a long time, May, June movement, and I've been seeing a lot of my clients too. There's been a lot of change in a lot of people's lives, a lot of settling on, filing of divorces at this time, moves, change, career changes. So there's been so much that's been in store, especially what's going on with a political sphere. We kind of could get to that, the topic, which is where the fuck are we headed? And I'll kind of get into that where it means politically, within politics, also within, our collective when it comes to the spiritual essences, technology, AI, all this stuff. Where's it all going? And what can we expect on the general sense with the collective? And so then, of course, we'll get into start with the collective read. I don't know what the collective read is going to be. I don't really know until I shuffle those cards. But before further ado, let's go see who's Chatty Cathy in the room, shall we? Let's rewind back here. A wonderful Mod Nina's in the room. So if you want to get a question, it's $50 for a card pull, $20 for one question, $30 for two questions, $40 for a live video. The PayPal and Venmo links are in the description below, and Nina will help you if you have any issues getting that started. The live videos can only be through Venmo. So PayPal, I cannot send you a link through PayPal. So please, the directions are the live video can only be through Venmo. Okay. David Cruz in the room, my father, and my mother Jennifer Cruz in the room. My makers are here. Be careful what you say; they will whoop your ass. Alma Ford, good to see you. Lisa Cruz, my sister from the same Vista, good to see you as well. Got the family up in the house. Allie Taylor, it's good to see you, my lovely soul. It's been some time. Ketra's Oracle Magic Tarot, good to see you. Horses Trigger Hope, always a pleasure to see you as well. Joy Patterson says, can't wait for this discussion on this. Well, it's going to be very multi-layered and kind of quick and very raw. So. But there's things I've been saying for such a long time in regards to 2025. So past live shows, past blogs I've done, I've said a lot about this, about 2025. So kind of do a little recap too. And check out my 2020 predictions too, or excuse me, 2025 predictions on my site too. Create a playlist. You can see what I've been saying for 2025 and beyond. Janelle Halligan, good to see you. It's been good to see you in the room. It's been some time. You were actually one of my first viewers back in the day. Remember that? Iggy, can't you see? Says HCH, nothing prepares for other than basically doing what Scott's been talking about this entire year. Exactly. Especially the last 2 to 3 lives. Exactly right. Iggy knows it. Listen to Iggy as well. Darby Mabry, good to see you. Ron G, hello. Linda Jane says hello, Scott, and the rest of the Cruisyverse. Welcome aboard. Good to see you live. Yes, big career leveling up right now over here too. Over there, that's great to hear. A lot of that, a lot of changes. A lot of people kind of finally focus on like starting that new business, starting that new job. Has been saying so. There's a lot of movement, a lot of people, and those who and I said before, those who aren't creating that movement for themselves, you're gonna like feel the rug being pulled beneath you. You're gonna feel like, oh my gosh, and betwixt this new energy. So that could be very frightening to some people, very unsettling. But that it's the universe trying to push you, saying like really go forward in the direction you've been wanting to go forward in, that you've been saying for quite some time, right? Noelle Haig, sister from another mister, good to see you as well. My soul sister, Angie Russell, good to see you. And those who are watching, I cannot see who you are. Thankfully, I don't have those spy tactics just yet. I have the psychic tactics, but I cannot see. I can only see who's chatting in the room. Welcome aboard too. Those who are new, I do start with a collective read. I do utilize tarot and oracle cards. I don't need them because I'm a psychic medium, but they help in circumstances like this when it's like kind of a collective situation, and also it helps when I have clients back to back, and it just kind of directs me and guides me where to read. So let's shuffle these cards, and afterwards we'll get into the topic, which is where the hell are we going, and we shall find out where we're going. Okay, and I did not prepare anything as far as for that. I just kind of figured all these topics, I just like create the topic, create the idea, and I just kind of shoot the shiz on it. I don't really have notes, don't have outlines. It's just like, well, I know the topic, we'll get to it. That Wheel of Fortune card has been coming out quite a bit over here. Quite a bit. Let's see more of that as well. And, I've noticed, Spirit has kind of broken up where the messages have been consistent, like, almost falling through week to week. It's been kind of more sporadic on what you all need to hear, because I feel like the current has been kind of similar week to week. So why not add in elements that you'll need to hear, not so much about the current week ahead, which I do that on LOL anyways. I do the weekly forecast. Why be repetitive? I don't like being repetitive. I'm an Aquarius. We hate repeating ourselves. Yes, NSA spy tactics, exactly. I learned it from Elon. Okay. These cards are very interesting. Okay, all right. I get it. So, let me get the oracles. And I love how this just left this card there. It's like, Scott, pull another. There it goes. All right, from look at the spread, you all kind of being frustrated right now. Y'all frustrated. Y'all like complaining, not looking at the bigger picture. We shall see this. Taking on too much. This is going to be a very multi-dynamical read. Just give me a couple seconds so I shuffle this. All right, now, Kate, yo, good to see you. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, give me a couple seconds so I can tune into this message now. Okay. Wheel of Fortune. We love Wheel of Fortune. It's a great game, right? We always think about, what are we going to get? What are we going to win? Wheel of Fortune is talking about a new cycle here. Beginning a new cycle. Beginning a new paradigm, as we were saying before, creating movement for that. But many of you have so many loose ends with your past circumstances or past experiences, and this could also be intellectually speaking as well, that you have to finalize it. You have to close down. Right? The 10 of Wands in reverse is all about this. It's all about letting go, releasing the burdens, releasing the over compensation, I would say, of circumstance, right? And the over encumbrance of things that you just no longer need any longer. And, a lot of times when we're in this position of change, we're kind of in this, this flux position, this phasing positioning, but we're still kind of holding on to both ends, the future and the past. And so there's that struggle energy. It's time for us to really reflect and say, what doesn't serve me? Am I just holding on to certain things, certain conditions, expectations, right? Expectations of relationships that you think are going to go somewhere, but they're not going to go anywhere, but you're holding on because you're expecting it to, but the past 15 years it hasn't. Maybe it's time to start dropping that and allow yourself to move on to a new paradigm of better relationships. And it's there. A lot of you guys know it's there. A lot of you guys can feel like, I know I'm on the almost at the other side of things, but the trepidation of letting go of what has been so comfortable for you, what has been your crutch for so long, like, oh my God, if I remove that, what is my identity? So you don't want to do that. You don't want to define the things that you've been holding on to as your identity. They're just things that you've expressed yourself through that created an identity, but you're understanding now that that identity no longer serves you and no longer matches your soul expression. Because you can feel it within your intuition. You can feel something's wrong. You can feel the deprivation. So it's time to understand, like really pick out those things and say, you know, I've been holding on to certain ideas or certain wishes or hopes that were wishes or hopes that were manifest from like younger self, the younger deprived self, or the younger spoiled self, or the younger ignorant self. You might recognize, start looking at these ideas or wishes and hopes that you've been holding on to that they don't match your mature self. And you might say, you know, I've always kind of like had that in the back of my mind, and it's just kind of, it's really kind of prevented and distorted my view of my direction. I'm like, let go of it. Right? And, you know, and we hear let go all the time, and I'm always repetitive about this, about letting go. Like, it's so overly saturated in our spiritual communities that we hear let go, but many people don't understand how to let go, because they don't understand why they're holding on. And so if you understand you're holding on to wishes and hopes because you just feel like you have to check that box from an old version of self, you might recognize it's not coming to fruition, or has not come to fruition, because it doesn't match my new self. It doesn't match the new paradigm. It doesn't match the new direction that I really feel I desire at this state, right? And so this is what the Four of Cups is all about too. It's kind of like, you know, if you can even just look at the imagery, right? Almost like the spirit is pulling out a cup, but he's not seeing the cup. He's so focused on the cups behind, right? So we're all focused on the things that didn't happen, the things that didn't manifest, the goals that didn't fulfill my life. So I haven't done it yet. And you haven't checked in and realized you really don't want to do those things yet. You don't do anymore. You don't want them anymore. And life is serving to you the new cup, the new direction. And now it's time to take that new direction and say, yeah, I've upgraded my intellect. And so you start letting go of the conditions, letting go of those circumstances, letting go of the ideas. You know, a thing that Spirit was kind of telling me through this process too, like false hopes, right? And when I say about false hopes, all that means is not that you can't get what you want. It's the false hopes is a lot of times we hope for things that is really much spiting our deprivation, or spiting the fact that we've been deprived because of trauma. So trauma happens, then we say, well, I need this to feel better about the trauma. So there's a false hope of that happening for you, which is not in alignment to your actual trajectory. It's a false hope, meaning that it's not really true for you. It's true for the traumatized version of yourself, for a pacifier. But the reason the trauma came into your life to begin with was to create a new paradigm, was to create a new outlook, a new direction. So we got to extract that from that and not manifest a false hope from that, but manifest the realization and wisdom so we actually have clearance of our direction, right? And so, and because if we're stuck in that nature, then we become dictated by circumstance. We become dictated by what people say, what they don't say, if they show up or they don't show up, if I get the job, I don't get the job, if my bank account's high or low. We become those things become the dictator of how we feel, and most importantly, and sadly, the dictator of our happiness. And we should not allow circumstantial things to be the dictator of our happiness. And so a lot of you guys who feel this push forward, and you've done the internal work of coming to terms with what you truly desire and seeing what you see fit and knowing what you really need to let go of, now's the time to get it done. Right? When you need to cut a piece of paper, you don't say, but how do I cut it? You just cut it out. You cut it. And just as simple as making the decision to drop it, and also allowing yourself to grab a hold of something new. This way you don't go back to picking that up. Then you understand, okay, I'm dropping that because I'm grabbing onto this new idea, the true version I've become, and the true version I want to morph into, so to speak, and expand into, right? That's how you naturally let go and drop the other paradigm. So that Wheel of Fortune is all about that new cycle and understanding what that chapter was in your life, or those previous chapters. Make them chapters and then close those chapters and ask yourself, where does this chapter morph into? Where does it evolve into next? Your soul knows when you ask those questions. But what this creates, if you don't do this, what you'll do, you'll try to get anything at all costs, just to make you feel better. And what you'll do is you'll also just dive into any relationship just because it's there, just because you don't want to be alone. So I'll just dive in and accept any relationship. I'll accept any job. I'll accept any treatment just because I need something now. And so you'll end up extending your growth and extending your happiness because you're just trying to get, fulfill that at all costs in any way possible. And that's not being conscious to what the soul wants. So you extend the misery. And so that will then create motion and movement in a direction that's a lot, almost like, when it rains, it pours type of situation. It'll just increase and get worse and worse and worse. And you don't want to keep manifesting and creating that snowball effect. Because during this time of movement right now, energetically and collectively, it can work on both ends of the spectrum. It can work in your favor, completely working to disservice you. It would go that direction full force. Because either way, we need to expand. Either expand because we're now living them, and acting out and expressing those manifestations we've been kind of, pondering and intending for so long, or the fact that we just need to evolve quickly from the circumstance that we haven't evolved from. It's going to happen at either end of the pole here. Make sure that you're going to stop pacifying yourself and just trying to get what you need at all costs just because you want to feel that deprivation. Because if you're trying to feel deprivation with things, you'll just feel deprived in a relationship. The most, I would say, heaviest, intense feeling of being alone is when you're alone in a relationship. Many guys are alone in relationships. That is the worst form of loneliness. Because you're saying, I've had this relationship because I didn't want to be alone, but I'm in a lone relationship. That means the relationship can't even take the loneliness away. That's harder to chew on. And that's what you keep creating for yourself. Don't do this. Don't do this. If you feel alone in that relationship, drop the relationship. Say, I'd rather be alone and have the opportunity to have someone who is present for me. Right? Simple ideas that you create from these circumstances. But the problem is you guys don't believe it enough. Because you don't feel it. And the only way you can start feeling it if you allow yourself to become it. You allow yourself to make it rational for yourselves. And you stop trying to fill the voids with meaningless, same vapid circumstances. Right? And so this is, especially also with the seven of wands in reverse, it's like letting go of the battle. Not every battle is yours to fight. Right? If someone in your life doesn't get it, doesn't understand how to be present or transparent, whether it's a family member, a friend, or lover, or whoever it is, if they don't get it, that's not your battle to fight. That's not your job to enlighten it for them. Especially if you've been inspirational to them and they still don't get it. It's not your job. Let it go. Because the other side of that cycle, closing that cycle, stopping trying to prove a point, stop trying to fix people and change people and make people see things the way you want to see it, and we see that a lot in politics today. When you just let go of that, it gives them an opportunity just to evolve and figure it out for themselves. Because most times when people are trying to contradict their feeling or point to try to change them, they're going to resist you more, and they're going to be more hell-bent on their point of view and less open to changing, to adapting to yours. So it's not your battle to fight. Let them go. And it doesn't mean that you're killing them off forever. Just like for the time being, you're saying, I am not engaged with it anymore. That allows you to develop the new paradigm and building those newer relationships. Okay? But ask yourself, do you really want these circumstances, ideas, hopes that you've had? Do you really want those in the future? Do you really want to experience that in the future? Because if you do a simple check-in, you might recognize that these are outdated hopes. These are outdated desires. Yeah, that was then. I really want that now. And allowing yourself to be honest with that, because so many people are afraid to be honest because, like, well, I didn't accomplish it. I don't want it. Now what's left? It's like, well, ask yourself what's next. You'll figure that out. And just like the oracles say here, this is where things come to fruition. That's where things really come to fruition. And when we say fruition, we're saying in the desirable outcome of fruition. Right? And that comes from, like I was just saying before, balance and discernment. Balance and discernment. Let's talk about that briefly for a moment, because these can tend to be overly cliche. Balance is understanding, again, all aspects of yourself. Balance does not mean that you're only positive, and I say this all the time too. It doesn't mean you're only positive. It means that you understand how to navigate your emotions. You understand how to navigate what you feel and navigate what you are receiving and projecting. You understand the flow of such. You're not judging yourself. You're not being overly dismissive. You're not doing any of those things to yourself. You're allowing yourself to just navigate your experiences. And to leverage that balance means, again, you're seeking wisdom. You're understanding the course of your own evolution. You start seeing the chapters. You don't damn it. You don't judge it. You're not trying to rush to get out of it. You're going through it in a way that says, this is part of my cycle. This is part of my journey. We talk about enjoying the journey all the fucking time. Like, oh, it's all about the journey. Well, no, it's not all about the journey. It is the journey. You have a journey. What is the journey? It's all about evolution. It's all about gaining wisdom into the self. But you have a journey. What is your journey? And that's the question. So a lot of times people just start trying to just enjoy the journey. It's like, you need to be conscious of what your journey is. What did you seek out in this incarnation? What is the theme? And you know this by looking at your repetition, the repetition of your patterns, good and bad. But this is the balance. That's what balance is understanding the yin to the yang. bringing your intuition into your physical domain, right? And leveraging the physical and the spiritual and just managing that and understanding that, yeah, I'm navigating my emotions. I'm navigating the challenges and the ups and the downs. And I'm in that flow of understanding how I'm becoming more in tune to that rhythm. And when you become more in that state of balance, you won't define things as bad. You won't be like, oh, that's bad, that's negative. You won't be saying shit like that. You wouldn't be that adolescent in thought with circumstances. You'd be like, oh, this is really telling me something. Oh, this is really revealing something to me. Ooh, good. I get to learn something. There's an upgrade here. That's how you'd feel. That's balance. And discernment is not just the discernment of self, not just discernment of, how you feel and discernment of the intuition, but the discernment about others and others around you. Discernment about even the current, the trajectory that's lined up for you, having discernment in the intuition, right? Because it could be a fine line. Discernment is really kind of being, making the right decisions based on circumstances around you and being discerning in that sense, to be making the right decisions. But it also comes from intuition, and so when you tap into intuition and use your discernment to really kind of filter out the things that are unnecessary, to allow things that are necessary. You're able to discern what has actually been disempowering and what is actually empowering. Or if the things that have been disempowering to you, how is the way that I can convert it into something that is empowering, right? That's how you learn more about yourself. That's how you gain more insight into what you want. You'd be surprised. I'm surprised how many people come to me saying, but I don't know what I want. If you don't know the base of what you want, there needs to be more soul searching. And a lot of times people don't know what they want because they're so used to disempowering circumstances and having to fight against disempowering, depriving circumstances. They're used to that pattern. They're used to kind of just going with it. They're used to kind of pacifying themselves through these depriving circumstances. So they don't really know what they want. They haven't practiced that enough. So it doesn't come to them quite instantly. Because they're not using discernment. They're allowing their circumstances to dictate how they feel. They're allowing themselves to bend to circumstances, bend to people, bend to whatever the circumstances and situations are, to accommodate the circumstance or individual that they lose themselves. And so that discernment is not there. They're not practicing that discernment. So the way you get yourself out of those situations is really ask yourself and use your discernment to say, is this really what I need at all times? If you don't know what you want in life, ask yourself, is what you're engaging with now, is it what you need? Because at least if you define what you know that you don't want, and you can see I don't want this, then that will actually create the opposite effect of what you do. That's the polarity. That's the duality. Right? And it came first, it comes in the last two, but that's how things really come into fruition. That's how things, and again, everything is coming to fruition the way you're exporting your energy, the way you're actually resolving karma or not. Things are manifesting in your life based on your own action, based on your own choices. But when I say fruition, a lot of times you will have fears or do things in a sense that's disempowering, and we will manifest things that are not in our favor. And that comes to fruition. Right? A bad relationship. Well, you're not learning a lesson, so you believe all men are cheaters, so therefore you manifest another cheater. That will come to fruition. But the fruition I'm talking about is the favorable fruition, the fruits that we really seek, and the fruits that we bear from the soul. That's what we speak of. That's the fruition I'm talking about. And so you have to understand everything that you are doing, experiencing in your physical life right now, you given birth to. You were in labor with. Okay? You mingled with it. And so we can always focus on what someone has done wrong to us and try to get over that. You'll never get over that if you're focusing on what someone has done to you instead of focusing on why did you mingle with it? What did you learn based on your experience from it that can actually boost you forward into a better experience or level you up intellectually, emotionally? People don't ask those questions. But why did he? So many people for many years just want to know, why did they ghost them? And then also, what are they doing now? Are they with someone new? Are they with someone else? They want to know all this information about why did they do that? Why did they ghost me? But also, who are they with now? Are they with this lover? Are they going to come back? All this stuff. Instead of just saying, where's my responsibility in this? How come I didn't catch that? I want to be able to catch that next time. I want to be discerning enough to spot it out a mile away. That's what the focus should be on. Why didn't I see it? Why did I allow it? And these are the questions you ask yourself to understand. I'm betwixt a paradigm shift here. You can either be blinded to that paradigm shift and not take the ticket and miss the boat and keep going on that same pattern as things continue to extend and to expand and that disempowering energy, or you can choose to say, I'm going to hop on that train and let's look at this and take this opportunity to change this into a different paradigm for myself. What are you choosing? And so through the past 12 years, I've seen so many people like people who are no longer in their lives wonder what they are doing. They exploit psychics. Like, what are they doing now? Are they thinking about me now? Are they with somebody else now? Are they gonna marry that person now? And it's okay to be there. I will help you get out of that, but understand you're giving that power away. You're just putting more energy, and we all have psychic connections with those that we connect with. So we're just putting that psychic energy into somebody else, empowering them, and that also makes that person ignore you and ghost you even more because they can feel that boost and that support from you. So therefore, they don't need you even more because they feel you're just giving it to them. Don't do that. Unplug. So it's time, guys, now to unplug from those things, unplug from these things that you feel like you're in the middle of because the new paradigm begins. You have the opportunity to create this new paradigm. You have the opportunity to take this opportunity of movement to create the movement in the direction you really desire to be in. And I will say most of the relationships that you were in that you're saying like, oh, but like maybe it will go in that direction. It will not go in that direction. Because it would show to you through the trials and tribulations that there's a movement forward, even if it's micro movements. Even if it's little steps of moving forward, you start saying, we are moving forward. It's slow progress, but we are moving to, okay, cool. Doesn't have to be fast, right? It could take its time too, but as long as there's still increments of movement. And if you're seeing things that there's no increments of movement in those circumstances, it's time to let it go because the soul's purpose, all your purposes combined is to grow. Nothing more. Circumstances don't mean anything. We use them as an excuse to grow. We use them as pain as an excuse to evolve. We use this physical, dense world, this holographic, dense world that we're imagining to evolve. That's what we're here for. If you ain't doing that, you will fall into depression, anxiety, fear. All those negative emotions, those disappearing emotions will manifest and be the dominant emotions that you're having. So if you're experiencing anxiety and you're experiencing that fear and you're having that anxiety riddle you, you're not evolving in the way you should be evolving. Or you're preventing yourself from doing so by holding on. And when you understand this and you make the big picture for yourself, then you'll say, oh, it makes sense for me to let go of this. I'm grabbing onto this. I'm letting go because I'm grabbing onto this. And sometimes you get to a point where I don't got to hold on to anything right now. I don't have to hold on to anything. I can just be present. I can just be and allow myself to evolve on my timing. And so, for me, I'm more keen when there's a new paradigm coming. I know. So, and you want to be ahead of the curve on that too. So you can prepare. So things don't just hit you and blindside you. And a lot of times, guys, spirit will pull you to grow, whether you like it or not. They'll pull you through dire circumstances, get you to wake up, whether you like it or not, and it's pulling you in the right direction, and you'll go kicking and screaming, but then you realize, it worked out for me. It's like, well, yeah, of course it did. You'll start recognizing that everything's happening to you. Now, everything's happening for you and not to you. Okay? And before I wrap that up and get to the topic, I just want to kind of say about being present too. What present means that you're nurturing what is before you, guys. Doesn't mean like I'm trying to forget things, just be in like the Zen moment and just be I mean, that can help to train you to be more focused on the present, but being present means like engage what's in front of you. Put love into what's in front of you. How many guys, and a lot of you guys are concerned about the next step all the time. And you get the next step, you don't enjoy the next step and engage the next step. Like, okay, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? What's next? I want this next. I want this next. And that's why I always say appreciation and gratitude is a wonderful mystical tool. It's a technology. See it as such. Because if you say to yourself, okay, if I want something, I feel deprived of something, let me use the technology of gratitude and the technology of appreciation as a tool to emphasize the energy of what I'm currently in so that can evolve and get me to where I want to go next. Because everything in your current circumstances is the old you, or the current you, or pieces of the future you. You can't abandon all that just because you want something new, want something else. And usually wanting something else is just a feeling of deprivation. So again, use that technology of gratitude and appreciation to when you feel stuck to say, let me re-engage, let me re-nurture, let me put love back into things I have before me because I once wanted those things. But what, now all those things are disposable? We've gotten so transactional in our nature and humanity, and this is going to lead right into the topic of where the hell are we going? Where the fuck are we headed to? There's been so much transactional. We have so much at our disposal now that we don't appreciate anything anymore. You know how many times I'm just so thankful that I have a phone, that the phone I can record video on, I have all my music on. I remember I used to lug around those CD cases. Remember those big old CD cases we used to lug around? I remember one time I left like a CD case of like 200 CDs on a train somewhere, and all my music was gone. No backups. The CDs were gone. It was like hundreds of dollars worth of CDs. And now we just have everything on our phone, backed up on our clouds, backed up on all these different things. And because we have all this accessibility and saturation, we don't appreciate a goddamn thing anymore. We're like, what's next? What do we need next? What do we need next? And this is why, because we're losing heart and soul, this is why AI is doing the things that we can do now because we've been asleep for so long. So where the fuck we're heading? We're heading now into a society and a culture to we need to start focusing on what are our mystical talents now? What are things that we can do supernaturally and within our intuition and mystical abilities and awareness that AI cannot do? Because we know AI cannot be intuitive. AI is not intuitive. It could fake intuition, but it's not intuitive. AI does not have feeling or emotion. So we're going to have to start coming from that place in order to succeed and move forward in this new society. Because just phoning things in, AI can do it. Okay, just doing mundane things, AI can do it. What can you do that comes from the heart, that comes from intuition, that AI cannot do? See, many people think this is going to be a devastation to our planet and society. I'm saying it's quite opposite. It's forcing us to be in 5D. It's forcing us to look at the things that we've been so mundane of, and it's forcing us to say, think outside the box and be more in the creative mind and less of the mundane mind. Because why? AI is threatening your jobs. AI is threatening your work. So if you can't do that, it's forcing you to think about what can I do that AI cannot do, and that's going to come from the heart, it's going to come from the soul, and it's going to come from your mystical abilities. Whether you believe you have them or not, we all have intuition, we all have soul connection. That's coming, y'all. So you want to be on that wavelength of such. And we're starting to see that breaking down in our culture, in our society. People are getting annoyed. I said 6, 7, 8 years ago about celebrity culture dying, right? And then people be finding their own audience, be more widespread of people for just finding their own audience. It won't be like a major group of people that are thrown in your face. And I wrote a blog about this. I think it's still on my website. I didn't take my blogs down from 7, 8 years ago. And I'm starting to see now, there's new production companies, like movies, like A24 is another one. There's a couple of those great movies, and they always have new actors you haven't seen before. These great movies. And you don't have this mainstream, companies just shoving shit down your throat anymore. The music industry collapsing for that purpose too. Does that mean it's over? No, it's rebuilding time. It's rebuilding time. So within our culture, as my song stated at the beginning of the show, we're building a new culture, and that means it's coming from heart and soul, because that's one thing AI cannot do and does not have is a soul. So that means that music will have soul, right? That would be standing out to us. Movies and any type of entertainment will have soul, will ignite the heart chakra, the crown chakra, ignite things of thought and wisdom. That's something that can't be repeated. That's where we're going. But also, in order to get there, things have to be broken down. I've been saying for quite a long time too about the political party system almost crumbling, income taxation crumbling, because I think that's immoral and illegal. You should not be pulling money, taxing someone's income. I believe sales tax, property tax, all the other taxes is good, because you don't have to pay. If you don't pay tax, then don't buy anything. But income tax I always felt immoral. Someone's working hard, then you have to go throw it away to a company that's putting the country in debt with your own money. That's going to crumble soon. I've said this almost a decade ago. that this will be happening. And now the celebrity culture is kind of fizzling out. People are wanting more substance because now what people do is copying each other a lot, but that's going to run its course too, where people they're just sick of copying things and people get annoyed about that copying stuff. So they're going to be forced to do something more creative. And those of us who've been seeing this and those of us who've been coming from the heart and soul and things will start becoming more obvious to those who've been kind of overlooking those things because they're ingrained in their trends, right? So those who've been putting heart and soul things will start rising above. It's Age of Aquarius, y'all, so even perfect timing for it to happen. And so the political aspects, the Republican, Democrat bullshit, I'm sorry, we're unified, one party. We all vote on what we want, okay? And we have to all understand, and that's why I think this dichotomy of Republican Democrat bullshit has been going on, is to force people to understand that you cannot force people to change and to believe certain things that you want to believe. You're going to have to learn to let them be and learn to allow them to let you be. And this is what is forcing us to learn. Some people are getting it. A lot of people are not getting it with their Trump posts and their Biden posts and their anti-Trump, pro-Trump bullshit. Right? And so you ain't doing none of that crap. You're just creating more of a divide. You're fueling the narrative that those who are actually controlling things of the, I would say the 2%ers that control things, you're supporting what they want you to do is divide and conquer. As they're putting more money in their pockets, putting things in bills that people are overlooking. But I'm starting to see that crumble too. Every administration is failing people, and people are starting to recognize that. And as I predicted before, I said what they're going to do is they're going to all of a sudden make fun of the lefties, and then that's going to turn around. Then they're going to make fun of the right. So it's going to be the same thing. And I'm starting to see what I predicted come to fruition now. Even now, the liberals now are being very strong-witted and now showing the conservatives that this is your fault. Like I said, it was good. Pendulum was going to swing the other side. And we're starting to see that happening. This kind of paradigm shift and this switching. And they had, back in the conservatives, they had liberals, turning conservative, leaving the left, leaving liberalism, leaving the Democratic Party. Now we're starting to see things leaving the Conservative Party. Good. Y'all leaving here, y'all leaving here. Let's come now in the middle, create our own party now, and understand that we cannot change people and what they believe. We have to learn how to live in harmony with it. Until you all learn that, things will keep crumbling. I don't care if you think it's an ideology or belief or not, whatever it is. And so that's where we're headed. Whether you like it or not, until we awaken to this quicker, things will crumble harder until we do. But fortunately, there's a lot of people that have been very silent. I would say the middle ground of things that really do feel that way. They don't really participate in all these things, but a lot of the middle ground people are starting to recognize they need to start participating now. They need to start participating in this change. And this is how we begin healing the planet. This is how we begin healing essences of things, allowing people to maybe, if they have religious ideologies that are out of alignment and they've just been holding on because of a fight, as things nurture up and they're allowed to, and they start seeing other people thrive who is in contrary to their lifestyle and so forth, they might start softening up and realizing it's time to grow up. It's time to evolve out of these ideologies. The fight keeps it stronger, ignites it more. So we're heading in a place where that is going to become necessary at that point. And it's going to be necessary that we come from heart and soul. We understand that we're now participating in society, in our community, of things that AI cannot do. It's forcing us to be in 5D. Y'all want it. Y'all complaining about the process of getting there and resisting the change. I see a lot of people talking and preaching about 5D, but then they're resisting the process. They don't see this collective trajectory of what it's doing, what it's creating within us to get to that 5D perspective, to that 5D experience. They're too busy, condemning all of it. But you want it so badly, but this is what's getting us there. So if we embrace that and see it, things go a lot smoother. We'll have more celebrations about these changes and these breaking downs of things and the rebuilding of such. So, and once we do, we're becoming closer to having connection to interdimensional beings, alien beings. We're coming closer to this because a lot of us are expanding awareness as a collective. So we're matching somewhat close to the frequency of seeing such, of connecting with such. Right? And so the more we do collectively, and there's a lot of us who've been doing the work behind the scenes that is really helping to heal the collective, we will have contact within 2030 with and actual direct contact by 2030 of alien and interdimensional beings. I predicted, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, that, there will be a solidification of alien life force between 2020 and 2024. And that happened in 2022, I think, or I forgot what it happened. It happened in the bracket I said. They confirmed it, and they moved right on from it. Right? And so we're evolving this way. We're starting, and we got to see the things that exist in the world. So that's why I think social media is a wonderful thing, because we're starting to see everything that's been existing around the globe, so we can be more objective now. And then understand how to help each other to evolve. That's where we're heading. We're not heading to Armageddon. There's always a tribulation period prior to a revelation, prior to an ascension. Rapture is what they call it in the Bible. But if you're really talking about ascension, we're going through that trials and tribulations now. We've been going through the trial and tribulation period for quite some time. So in order for that resurrection, in order for that rising up and ascension to occur, there's going to be trial and tribulation before the revelation. And we're in a period right now, like I've been saying, of revelation. Things will start being revealed. I've been saying this in my past live stream. Things will be revealed starting May, June of this year. You start thinking in the world, the truth being revealed, the truth being exposed. Those who believed in falsehoods, they're going to be shown that they've been duped. Those who've been saying that they've been duped will be revered as saying they were telling the truth. So this May, June of 2025 begins that process. This is where we're going. So, and for a lot of people, that truth might feel like a rug's being pulled beneath them, because a lot of people don't want to believe the truth, because what they believe in is life or death to them, and so they hold on to what they believe as their life force. And so you can't take that away from them. Please don't do that with your beliefs. Please change your beliefs like you change your fucking underwear. Don't hold on to them like this. They're irrelevant. They're just programs to tell you, this is how I'm going to see life. This is how I'm going to participate in life. Please create a simple foundational beliefs that keeps you open and focused and in tune. But for many people who in those situations, when the truth gets revealed, it's going to be devastating for them. That's where the chaos is going to happen during this period of time too. Again, necessary. But if you're in alignment to that progression of where we're headed, you'll be able to observe it and to be compassionate to those who are maybe feeling not ready for the change. But you'll understand it be right and flow. Right and flow. Okay? That's where we're heading. A more spiritual, more mystical, more spiritually aware world, where the things that we were lied about become shown to be a truth, shown to be true. The things that we've been deprived of when it comes to the mysterious nature of our universe, of our soul consciousness, all that stuff becomes available and accessible to us. But the question is there going to be a divergence of reality? Will some of us go in that timeline and some of us go in another timeline? That remains to be seen. And that's too far out in the mystical quantum field about divergence in timelines, where some people just go different direction. We just end up going different timelines. It's very possible. That's a very possible thing. I can't say for sure. Many people are like saying it for sure. I'll be honest, I can't say for sure if that's really what's going to occur. But I do know that evolution is coming, and I do know that change is coming. And it's better to be on board with it than not to be, because if you're not on board, you'll be kind of left behind, rolled over, steamrolled over. And that's unfortunately the harsh truth about evolution. But the wonderful thing is, if you're rolled over, then you kind of you reincarnate back in a newer position. Because I feel like that's the wonderful thing about reincarnation, is that when we get stuck in something, then we pass on, then we can kind of restart where we deprived ourselves in evolution. And so this is where we're going. We're not going to where you're focusing on all these, these societal statistics and standards. I've seen many people discussing about like open relationships and polygamy and free spirit and not bound by like traditional norms of relationships. I hear more people come out about this, or more people saying, I don't want a relationship. I don't want family. I don't want the traditional norms anymore. I'm fine being solo, asexual. Right? So a lot more people are going down routes of being more free with their expressions. Because it's the societal pressures that we've had before that makes you feel like you're depriving yourself of something because you don't have what the societal expectations tell you you're supposed to have. That's the problem. We're leaving that behind. We're going beyond all that now. And that's why I see a lot of people lately who've been moving, who've been downsizing. Like, I don't need all this shit anymore. I don't need the business. What do I have all this big house for? I need something that's just right for my expression. I've seen a lot of that happening too with people. So get prepared for this. Be objective about what's going on. See beyond. Look at things from that, that 30,000 foot perspective, as Devin likes to say. Devin Dure. We like to always say that. I always say from the God perspective. Look at it from the God perspective. Say there's a reason why these things are occurring. These are results and responses to how we're participating, and what is it teaching us. Right. So. My mom says no children makes the end of civilization. Well, no one's talking about not having children, Mom. No one's saying people are going to stop having children. People are not going to be forced into relationships that they don't want to be in. There'll always be people having children. There'll always be people having families. But there's people that just don't want those things. Right? And so they create divorce, or they end up having abortions, and so they have other means of like getting why they're doing certain things to get out of relationships they feel they're expected to have. So things will be in balance, all because certain people will not be pushed into traditional norms. Doesn't mean all of a sudden like people stop having children. It doesn't mean that people all of a sudden stop procreating. If anything, people procreate in the right contexts and the right premises. And so, no, I think, and this is the problem. I think people are afraid of change because they think that all of a sudden we change this direction, everything else stops. It's like, no, we're just bringing balance. People get married because they want to, not because they have to. People get married and build a family because it's something they want to, not because they have to get a paycheck from their partner. It will bring the balance. It will always be people that procreate. That's balance of nature. Right? I always say being gay is nature's population control, right? And so, and everyone says, oh, it's sinful, it's about procreation. It's like, what about the straight people who physically have a condition where they can't have children? I mean, does that mean they're evil because they're not having children? It's like, we have too many people. This world is overpopulated anyways. We could afford to have more balance than that. And so, nature has its own way of balancing things out. But we should be in flow to that nature's balance. We should be in flow to that so we understand where our calling and our take and our position is within it. So then everything is actually in harmony if we all take that stance and perspective. So and adoption. They wouldn't, if people were having children and families, there wouldn't be so many kids who are in adoption right now. There's so many kids are in adoption that's because of people didn't want to have their kids. They would eliminate those circumstances of the abortions of children that's just put up for adoption. It would bring more balance to that. So, but we're heading to that. And if you're not ready for the truth, it's going to hit hard. But that's the only way it's going to snap you all out of it if you haven't been in tune to it. So, is it Armageddon? Hell to know. But we're heading in a direction that's really kind of the mask is falling off. And let's have fun with it now, shall we? Okay. As I drop these cards. All right. Before I get into the readings, we have a wonderful message from Nina. Let's do it.
Thursday crew, I just saw a hawk fly through right behind me. So if hawks are a sign for you, let this message be a divine synchronicity. When I was tapping in, I kept hearing discernment, and really more so the ability to discern through the fog. Like I saw almost like a spray of fog, kind of like a mist popping up within the field. And I'm hearing, don't let that be a confusing factor. Know what your aura is and what your aura feels like. Know what your sovereignty and your self-agency feel like, because there might be an energy of confusion or fog or haziness. And similar to like Nosferatu's like curse or spell, know when to keep your psychic boundaries really intact, your psychic boundaries protected and on lock, so that you know what you are. And when another energy comes through, you know what that is, and that's not you. So again, they're just showing me a lot around discernment, fog, breaking through the fog, breaking through the haze, and knowing that you are worthy of beautiful things to come for you. But those things can only come when you have a good sense of self and a tightening of your boundaries to know what you are definitely not.
So, that really complements my message very well, the collective, actually, Nina. So good job on that. Because yes, really understand the phrase, know thyself. Do y'all know what that means to know thyself? Knowing what makes you tick, what doesn't make you tick, really knowing and what you're feeling inside, right? Deep down inside what you're feeling. And when we say inside, we're talking about you, not how you feel external in the external world. So yes, and that's how you do create the boundaries, right? And I love you said that about psychically too, Nina, because I was talking about psychic warfare earlier too, about, we have psychic connections of people that we are engaged with and we haven't closed down. And so we still exchange energy, those things. Know your boundaries, know what you're tuned into. know what you need to unplug from. So yeah, thank you, Nina, for highlighting that, and thank you. Okay. What do we have here? We have 2 videos. I'm going to start with these questions first. How do I want to do this? Okay, first, let me do this. Let me copy this. So those of you who booked did video sessions, let me copy my link here. Copy the link. I gotta send it to myself. Give me a moment here because I have to. It's a live show. Yes, Nina, thank you. I do see that. Stephanie did that. I actually like the live videos because I have someone to play off of. It's just me. I'm here. I'm just like, playing with myself. This freaking thing in my hair just always keeps coming down. All right, Stephanie, let me give you the link to chime in here. So as you know, check those who booked the live videos readings, check your Venmo, because that's where I'm going to reply to the transaction with the God, why can't Venmo be why does it have to be easy to do these things? Venmo is so difficult. Okay, I will respond to your transaction with the link to call in. And I think you got those of you who've did them understand. So Stephanie, I sent yours because you were first. I'm going to while I'm waiting for you. I'm going to go into the first question here, which comes from Katie Wright or Katie W. I don't want to say the last name, but there we go. Are there any job offers or opportunities coming in my way in the near future? But of course. I got to talk about. I see what what you're doing wrong. You don't feel focused as much with this. And I would say you don't feel like you're focused on like what you actually want job wise. I think you're laying more like it's going to show up. Like you might not be aware that you're doing this mentally, but something like you're like it's going to come out of somewhere. It's like no. You need to be more specific. They're saying I want this type of job. I want this position and move forward toward that opportunity. They're saying you might not be on it as much as you should be. You might be saying, but I am. It's like. It's a different energy context, that you could say, what else could I be doing to be more on it? Then you'll see what we're saying. But yeah, I wouldn't say this would extend longer than July, so I'm saying if you're taking your time by July, if you speed up, then well before July. So, but yeah, I don't feel like this is gonna be a long drawn out thing, but I think you're dragging it out now. Because I think you love being like, well, nothing's really coming, and it's like, be like more adamant. They're saying this is where we have to be very action oriented with intention. But I definitely see something unfolding before July. Like it's definitely around the corner for me. But remember, don't fall into the manifestation crap of like it's coming from somewhere. Don't fall in that. Say I'm opening these channels for myself too, and just keep consistent with that. That's it. But yeah, feels like within a month. And when I say within, it can happen a lot sooner too. Just depends. That depends on you. All right, let's get Steph on here in the room. The questions are if something's coming like that. Those questions, we got to refine the questions more like to help you. Right, because if you're in a position where something's not happening, then it's important to understand. Well, what am I doing that's preventing it? What can I be doing more of? So, a good question is, what can I do to accelerate my job search or connect with a job, or what am I doing that's preventing? Those are better questions. Like, is it coming? Let me saying. So that shows you that you're not looking at participating in the grasping of it. You're more participating on like what something's wrong, so I'm just saying that for everybody watching, we tend to be in that position of like, when is it coming, where's it coming from? It's like we got to get out of that mindset. Anyways, hey Stephanie, you're on. Can you hear me? I don't hear you. Your sound is not on. Your sound's not on. Don't hear you. Your sound's not on. Nope. No. I have to like turn like maybe see if there's like a little button there somewhere. It says you have yourself muted, my love. It says guest has muted themselves. Look in the settings for the link I sent you. Maybe there's a mute. You muted yourself in the settings on the live stream. She's going to call back in. Okay. Yeah, Katie, when I say step up your game, I'm talking about energetically. Like energetically step it up. Like determination, like you're feeling out the right position. You're being intuitive and discerning. That's when I step up your game in that way. But you're good. It smells like it's close. All right, let's try to see if she's on here again. You're in the green room. Now better? You're on. Oh, okay, she's back. There she is. Yes. What's going on?
I can't have enough of you.
What's going on?
I was driving this morning and I was like, shoot, all these 4 things came to mind. And I'm like, okay, I forgot to ask Scott this. So.
Okay, well, let's do it.
Okay, so remember a few weeks ago, you said you're going to start seeing a lot of 333s, 33. I was seeing that nonstop, but I've also been seeing 444, 555, 222. So I just want to know what those mean. I know they're angel numbers, but
well, yeah, they have different reflections of what they mean. And so I remember when I said 3 like, I don't know, I'm seeing 4s. I don't see 3s. Like I said, you will. So I'm glad you did. So those who were watching from last week, right? So the 3s for me is the integration of higher consciousness. Right. Okay. That's also my alien, like 3 alien interdimensional, connection too. But like in a sense of like when you're tapping into more of a higher thinking, a higher consciousness, that's the 3s, right? Look out for downloads that you get spiritually. Look for the downloads that you're getting from spirit too, because you might also be getting downloads. And even if you're not conscious of it, you'll still get the downloads too. But it's good to be aware. So that's the 3s. You're getting like divine inspired, downloads and that higher connection and higher thinking of things. So which I think is actually in alignment to what you've been doing anyways. So that's more of a confirmation. And so 4s, to me, I would say 4s is, connection from spirit, from those you love in spirit. That's always the 4s, spirit guides, ancestral connections, right? So when you see 444, it's someone, I would say that's mama coming through, right? That's mama. That's definitely mama.
I see it every day.
Yeah.
Multiple times during the day.
Well, because your mom doesn't want to go anywhere. She's gonna be around every day. So that I feel the 4s is definitely her. What were the others you said? You said 222,
555, 222.
Yeah, 555. Right, 555 is all about change, and all about like motion and change in a new direction. Or expansion, new direction. So it's like creating momentum and building up for newer change. That's what the 5s represent for me in that sense that I see consistently. I see with a lot of other people too. So it's about change, momentum, putting things in motion, new ideas, also letting go of certain things, restructuring, right? Is the 5s as well. So I think that you also been doing that restructuring with your team. So that makes sense. You're like getting rid of the past as we talked about the last time. So the 5s is all about restructuring and doing such and like the collective read I said today about the new paradigm. So that's the 5s. You said 2s, right? 2s and 9s?
2s and 9s.
2s, the 222s is all about duality, right? And about also partnership. Like, what is the yin to your yang, right? And what is your duality? So understand the aspects of your duality. Understand what is the yin to your yang when it comes to relationships too. I think the 2 is really you understanding your partnership with romantic partnerships. That's the 2s mean for me is like love is around in this case, because this could be so many different variables with the 2s. For you specifically, the 2s is like saying love is around the corner. But like identifying what partnership and that duality means when it comes to yin to yang of a partnership. You know what I mean? So that's what the 2s. So, but I'm so glad you're seeing these numbers because that's so fucking on par to where you're at, what you're doing right now. And the 9s is all about mastery. Right. So, 999 is like, we're just going to focus the emphasis on the 9, right? Which is about mastery. And so I think for you, it's really mastering, the physical and spiritual, like in syncing the two and mastering the two, heart and soul, heart and mind, right? What is my theme? Aligning the mind with the soul, it says up there, right? So you're mastering that. You're understanding my desire, my intuition, but also where it's coming from the spiritual sense too. So you're mastering that, which is leading you to more clarity, more guidance, and which is why you've had more celebrations this year, right? Like we predicted last year, like, oh, it's all going to be in this nature, and the things that you didn't see last year that we saw that now you're living, right? This is the mastery. Yeah. But the point of saying is, yes, it's to tap myself in the back, yes, but it's also to let you understand that you can know this ahead of time too. You can feel this ahead of time as well without being in fear or in the state of the unknown, because you could tap into it before it happens if you're clear. But you're mastering that now, because I think you're starting to see more of the future.
Yeah, and I think you nailed it, because this year especially, and we always talk about this, right? Ever since Mommy went to heaven, I felt more in tune, and I have no fear. Even with all the madness that we're going through in the country, like I have zero fear. I'm literally in fearless mode where I'm just going, and I'm staying strong, and I'm resilient 1,000%.
That's because you're in tune. That's being in tune. Because you'll get to the point of that in tuneness. You understand why the things are happening around. Like, okay, well, we all signed up for this, so what's the fear? If I signed up for early death, and I signed up for, what's the fear? Anyway, right? So when you're in tune, there's no fear. You don't have that. You're more objective and understand. So I think your discernment will be more clear from here moving forward about the steps that you're making, right? And because what you're doing, you're intuitively feeling like things are in the right place, even though it might not look it. You're starting to feel intuitively things are in the right place. But keep banking and expanding that emotion, because when you do, then the psychic ability is going to be like bam, bam, bam. You know what I'm saying?
I do. And every second of the day, Scott, I kid you not, I honestly live in gratitude. Like for breathing, for walking, for smelling, for being with my pup, for everything, for every single thing.
That's a technology. It's a perfect time to do that, my love. That's a spiritual technology, because you're taking that weapon. That's a power. That's a spell you're putting on things. You're saying, I appreciate. You're building the nurturing energy, and that will increase. That will evolve, because everything evolves. Every energy will cycle and small and evolve. So that's a perfect place to be right now too. And so that's again a new paradigm shift, and that gratitude brings in love. That's. And I want everyone to listen to you. What you just said is being in love. That's what being in love is. Many people are like, oh, being in love means someone loves me, validates me. No, what you said is being in love. I appreciate things. I breathe life into things, and that's in love right there. And so and probably you know this intuitively, that you're in that state of being in love right now. The partnership is around the corner, because you also feel that synchronicity to such.
It kicked in yesterday when I was getting my hair done. My hairstylist, I've gone to him for like 7-8 years, and I feel like he knows me so well.
Yeah.
But for some reason, he keeps questioning me the same thing, and I tell him, "Look, I'm not like everybody else. I'm very different, and I've always done that as a kid."
Yeah.
And he's like, "So no vacation for you this year?" I'm like, "Renee, I'm happy. I love my life. I'm truly, genuinely happy. I don't need to escape, because I love where I'm at, what I'm doing. I love everything about it."
Right. So I'll do this before we wrap it up, because then we have other questions to answer too, just for time's sake. But if you could give somebody a piece of advice of how they can get to where you're at right now, what would you tell them?
Just faith. Like, it sounds like a cliche, but guys, seriously, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I was at the darkest place in my life last year after I lost my mom. I almost lost everything. And I'm talking about everything. Spiritually, mentally, financially, everything. And having Scott by my side reminded me, just honing me every single time, every call, every life, every message. Dude, you got this, you got this, you got this. I got to the point where I was like, I've been through worst. And I've done it. And I'm alone. I don't have anybody here. My family's in a completely different city. I'm here just with my dog. And
for
nobody
now
believes. You know what I've realized? I'm just, I think I've always known that, but it hit me this year. I'm just, honest to God, full of energy, nonstop energy, 24/7. Like the way you see me right now, that's how I am. 4 or 5 in the morning, I'm just going.
Me too. I'm up early. I'm like, bam.
Insane.
But you know what that is too? That we all have that energy. You're using it wisely. You're dispersing your energy in the way that you know is the way your soul needs to express. Because when I'm participating in things I love too, like I just nonstop energy. You know, we all have that energy. The problem is so many people are dispersing it in ways that's just exhausting and draining. They're giving it away. But when you're putting energy, things that you love, it comes back to you. It's that cycle, right? And so
that's
wonderful.
the other thing that we have in common with a lot of the community here, a lot of our members, is that I stopped drinking for almost now 6 months ago.
Wow,
and
good for you.
I love every second of it. I truly do. And this is something that I have done between my mommy and I.
Right.
And I ask for her blessing every night. I wake up early. I go to the little podium that I have for her in my place, and I ask for her blessing in the morning. I talk to her while I'm walking around the house. I talk to her all the time, but especially when I'm home. And I'm just like, I want you to know I'm always going to be self-aware of everything, and especially of myself. I'm trying.
That's wonderful.
You know?
But you're doing it. I mean, it's all evolution. Like, you're not always going to be perfect about it, but you know you're in that state, you know? And so that's a wonderful thing to be in. That's clear. That's clarity.
But that's thanks to you. Okay, so I have like 3 quick questions.
Yes, let's go.
Over the show.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so I did what we talked about in our call, and I wrote the letter yesterday, and I burned it.
Good.
It felt amazing.
Didn't you? No. Okay. So let's tell the viewers. So you had an ex that you had some regrets of things that you've done in the past, right? And it wasn't the right relationship, and it was resurfacing, you know. And another ex situation resurfaces, as we said it would, because the time is now where you have to put closure to it. So I advised her to, because she had no way of contacting them. That this is what therapists use all the time. This technique of just writing a letter to them, expressing that remorse and putting closure, and burn it and flush it or bury it. And what it does is it brings a closure within, because we are still sending that energy to them psychically. That's what people don't realize, and it resolves for them, and you're taking responsibility, which clears it for you. Right. Mm-hmm. And that allows you to move forward from that. So I'm glad. And so you're going to start seeing a lot more, because something might come up again in a couple of days, but you'll be like, I'm good. I'm not going to beat myself up anymore. And then you'll skyrocket and feel even more clear about your relationships moving forward. So good job.
So the follow-up to that, I've actually connected with someone that's been kind of eyeing me and finally connected with me on IG and started DMing me.
Okay.
This is actually... You know my background. I've been in media and entertainment behind the scenes since I was a kid.
Yeah,
so I know tons of public figures, from politicians, entertainment athletes. Mm-hmm. This is someone from the sports world, retired. And, and I'm like, where is this going? So pretty much he asked me, he's like, well, because he lives in the West Coast. I'm not going to say where he lives.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But... he's like, so when would you come to the West Coast? And I'm like, well, when are you coming to South Florida? But it's getting to that like playful conversation where I just kind of just go with the flow.
But did you see the fact that like you burnt something and then something comes in? Do you see what I'm saying here?
Yes, the blockage.
But it's just like you're opening up to a new paradigm. You're saying to yourself, I'm allowing myself to release because I'm in between a new paradigm. I'm ready for it now. I'm taking responsibility for the past. I owned it. I expressed it. That's what the collective read is all about. So like you're so perfect that you're telling us that those are watching, because it confirms the collective read that we're talking about. So I'm not going to read this situation. I want you to experience it and use your discernment. Take the training wheels off. I'm not going to like try to predict. Let's keep it what it is. Take it step by step. Use the things that I've helped you with and mentored you with along the way to navigate this, so you could be keen on what it is for you and where it goes or doesn't go. I want you to do that for yourself on this one, and then fill me in on it.
Of course I will. It's like
good.
My movie, my life, especially my love life, is like a freaking movie. It's like a picture to me. So
sure.
I always take it from 0 to 100, and it's
good for you.
It's always with someone that's somewhat of a public figure, and I never intended to be that way, but
But it doesn't matter. I mean, you have a big. The public or not, the similarity is big energy. You have a big energy.
That's what it is. It's the same energy, and
that's all it is.
We're in the same circles. We know the same people. We have the same friends.
But your energy is right. But you have big energy, right? And so they have big energy. Most people are public. They have big energy. So you're just being a big energy, And so use your discernment. I don't want to read that one, but go forth that based on everything we talked about for so long, and you'll check in, and along the way, I can help guide you along the way with it. Okay?
Okay, I will. And then the last question. Sorry, everybody.
You're
My best
good.
friend, Ksenia, she's Ukrainian. To make long story short, she's been working with getting her, situation resolved. She I guess now she got asked to appear in court. This is immigration related,
Right?
Is that going to be okay? I mean, she's been great. She's she's a good citizen here.
Is she a citizen?
No, she's not. But I'm just saying, like a human citizen.
Per human, yeah. Because I'm like, immigration would be taking her. If she's, I have personal feelings about what's going on, so I have to try not let that get involved here. I can't read it. I'm getting both energies. I can't read that one, to be honest with you. It feels to me that it's actually up in the air right now. Could go either way. So, which could be good, because it doesn't mean like I feel like she's set for deportation, but I also don't feel that she's set to be let go either. So it's actually up in the air right now. So I can't read the outcome on it.
But she actually, I think she has to go to court at some point in the next few weeks. It's just like part of like a standard thing.
Yes. But
how
they,
is that
I
gonna
just,
go? 'Cause she called me today. She just told me this is the reason why I wanted to go live.
right. There's a need for there's a need for money or something like that. She might have to pay something, for judgment, because it's just, I feel like, to me, because the reason why it's also hard for me to read, because I just saw a story this morning about a woman that was here with her husband and she got deported. She went to court, they deported her in front of her husband, left her husband and kids behind. Like, it's disgusting, right? So, yeah, I can't, and perhaps I don't want to, I just can't, I can't read the outcome on it. I'm on it. I just being honest with you, I can't. It feels so up in the air, but there's, to me, I'll just leave with this. It's still a possibility that she can remain.
Okay.
It might need something like, she might need like maybe get an attorney or something of that nature. She might need to like invest financially in a way to help with the legalities of such, to fight for her. Many of these people who are, they don't have, legal help, to navigate this. So she might want to invest in an attorney or some sort of legal advisor during this process before she goes to court.
Okay. But you can't tell if what's going to happen.
I can't. I don't. It's unpredictable. It's undetermined. Okay. And let me let people know too. And I will be very honest if I can't predict something. I'm good at predicting things, but as you know, but there's things if I can't, I'll be honest about it. And there is something called randomness in this reality. That's why people say, "Oh, predict the lottery numbers." Like, no, there's actually something called randomness, that not everything is laid out. And so, and so we have to understand this about life. And so in this situation, I feel like if she were to get some legal advisors and show that she has some sort of money that she can kind of provide, that might kind of deter the outcome in her favor.
Okay.
All right. Okay, any other questions before that? I really can't offer much on that.
I'm good.
Good to see you, but good to be where you're at too as well. And keep me posted on that special connection. Okay.
I will. I love you tons.
Love you too, babe. Good to see you. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, baby. Same.
Bye, love. Okay, and I'm glad, because I don't usually have questions like that I can't render a prediction on. That doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes it happens. And so sometimes either the querent, which is the person who asked the question, need not to know right now, or it's just not determined, and that happens. And so that's why there needs to be times we have to understand how to navigate. That's why I was getting advice that she needs some legal advice on that, because it's undetermined right now, we want to do something that can persuade it and push it in the favorable outcome. Right. And that's life. Not everything's black and white. Not everything's written in the stars. That's how life is. Otherwise, I'd be rich and predicted a lot of numbers a long time ago. All right. A lot of us would have, but that's not our only focus either. But I'm just making a joke about this. So understand that, not everything is laid before you either. So sometimes if you don't feel clear about something, it's time to take action. All right. All right. Let's see who's next. We also have another live session with Mandy. So let me leave that. leave. So Manny, check your Venmo thing here, and I'm going to paste it. Can you believe this, guys? Like, it's not pasting. I just paste it, and now it's not pasting. Oh, the technology. There we go. All right, Manny. The link is sent in your Venmo, so check that out and dial on in. And I'm going to take a question while we await for such. So we got Stephanie, Mandy. Now we have Katie. We've done Allie Taylor. What do you see going on in this month? Love to you always. Well, that's a loaded question, Allie. What is it going on this month? That's a loaded bomb there. Can you define it down more? I mean, I guess you just want something general. The first thing I heard is just like, now it's time to take care of your health this month. So you're fine, Ellie. I'm just being playful. Just joking. Because that's a loaded question. What's going to happen in 2026? Right? No, you're fine. Don't worry about it, Ellie. I'm just being playful. But what came to mind was focusing on health right now this month. Letting the logistics of things that you put in motion like pan out now. And now it's time to, like, the Four of Swords is all about rest and relaxation, recuperation, rejuvenation, right? So I think if you're focusing on things that you've got in motion, now might be time to take a step back and relax and let things pan out the way they need to pan out. If it's, legality wise, or the case is, let those legalities and what you've done and put in motion, let it resolve itself now because you already put it in motion, right? So it's saying focusing on health right now, focusing on that recuperation, rejuvenating energy for this month of June. Okay. Because you already got things in movement, in motion. And so I think that will allow you to, when things are in motion, that will allow you to relax, get inspired, and know what to do for the next steps. So actually it's quite simple, Allie. Actually quite simple what to do this month, because I feel like there'll be a lot of things coming to resolution that you put in motion already, and that would just require you to chillax, lay back, put more focus on your health. And the Ten of Cups is a really good card about happiness and completion, things coming together. So there might be a visitation from family, or a reconnection with family members, or bringing family members in, a visitation from a family member or family. So it feels like things like become more solidified, this month. So all you gotta do is focus on your health now, rejuvenate. Pretty simple, actually, Allie. But yeah, I really feel that in that nature. And maybe a visitation from your son, or connection with son or family. I feel like that's also this month. So enjoy that as well. Okay. Hope that helped. Next is Linda H. Linda House, no question, just grateful all you do. Oh, happy Thursday. Oh, Linda, that's so sweet of you. Well, for doing that, I'm just going to pull an oracle card for you. How about that? That's sweet for you. I should just probably take the token of gratitude, but I will pull a card for you anyways to express my gratitude. And the card you got was Fitness Edge. That's the card you got, Fitness Edge, and the person is the present owner, which is Ken. That's your card. I'm kidding. That was stuck in my oracle cards. Maybe the message is also take care of your health and get fit again. And then I don't know. Maybe that's why that popped out. Who knows? If you're in Palm Springs at some point, then yeah. So that's funny. Oh, and I just got my Nevada license in the mail. I'm happy about that. Ooh, okay. I like these cards actually for you, Linda. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that happened. Maybe you'll meet a Ken at some point for something. I don't know, but that was funny. Advertising Fitness Edge. I'm not even in Palm Springs anymore, but you got the Path card, and the Path means if you're questioning whether or not you're on the right path, Linda, you're on the right path. Right? You might be in the phase of introspective energy, right? So that's what the assessing card is. I think that you're actually, instead of looking without, you're looking within, you're assessing within. I just feel a connection with you writing something. Maybe you should journal, maybe start writing a book, or maybe you'll get into the modes of writing a book. I feel like that might be something that's connecting with you too. And the whole thing of will and focus. I want to kind of like defluff that a little bit. Will and focus is, understanding the things that you tend to focus on is based on what you're intending. That's the assessing energy, right? So So I think you should understand that perhaps that you'll start realizing that maybe the things that you've acquired or things that you learned or things you experienced, you might want to put into writing. Will it be just you journal about it, or maybe you decide to write a book about it, or write a blog about it? I feel like that's kind of next. And understanding that, you're on the right path, and so it might turn into something, So, you're writing every day. Well, there you go. Good. So you're in the right motion. So perhaps that will turn into something, Linda. Perhaps that will turn into something. And ask yourself, like, how do you want to take that farther? Looking within, the assessing, right? The assessing energy. This is the path, right? New path. You're on the right path with it. So, just a little bit of confirmation. And that's funny. He's going to be in Palm Springs next winter. That's probably why that card from Palm Springs came up too for you. So good stuff, Linda. I appreciate you. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your support as well. It's tremendously humbling to me. So thank you so much. What do you do with what? With the card? With the gym card? I think we're about behind that. Yeah. Clarify. What do you do with what? With the writing? I'm assuming you're saying what you do with the writing. Ask a way that you could be helpful and inspiring to others through writing, because writing is an expression. So we think about expression. How can we turn an expression to something that's valuable for ourselves, but also other people? Think in that context. Okay, I think Mandy's having problems here. Yeah, she's lagging on the delay. Okay, in the chat. Got it. Okay. The link isn't working. I can't click it or copy or paste. I tried typing it out too. Well, Mandy, what isn't working? We just had Stephanie come on and it worked fine for her. What wasn't working? Yeah, the chat's behind on Linda. I answered all those questions. So, yeah, blog a book. You'll figure that. That's something you need to create and assess for yourself, Linda. You decide how you want to take it, whether it be a blog or a book. You decide. Let that be your decision. Okay, on how you want to do that, how you wish to express that. And I think you doing that for yourself, make decisions yourself, is gonna be great. I'm going to try one more time to send you the link here, Mandy, but if you put it in your browser, yes, that's what you have to do, Mandy. Copy and put it in your browser, okay? Have you been putting it in your web browser? Because it's a web browser link. So whatever web browser you're using, paste the link in the web browser, okay? Okay, until then, we'll go to the next question. Don't click the link, Mandy. Copy the link and put it in your browser. Nothing's going to happen if you click on it, because Venmo doesn't do hyperlinks. Okay? So copy the link and put it in your browser. All right? And then Nina, if you can correspond with Mandy. So Mandy, don't respond to the Venmo. Talk with Nina in the chat here, okay? So she can assist you. Jai, were you wanting a video too? Jai, were you wanting a video, or do you want the questions? Let me know about that, okay? This way I know how to respond. If you want to do the questions or you want video, let me know too. Okay, next question is for Brandy Ainsley. Brandy Anns, I'll say. It's good. Okay, 1. Is it a good idea to go to Portugal in July for a work-related trip? 2, will I stay long-term in this relationship? I'm in a polyamorous woman. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. Mandy, leave you backstage for a moment as I finish answering these questions. Just remain backstage. I'll bring you on when I'm done with these questions. Is it good to go to Portugal for the work-related trip? Yeah, I didn't get any opposition on it. So I feel more of a push for you to go, right? I think it's going to benefit you on different levels to go on this trip. So I would say yes, because it feels like it's going to benefit you with connection, relationship, experience, and also the need to just travel, to need to like create a momentum in a different environment. So yeah, for me, it's like that feels great. That feels good to do so. On all dynamics. Now, as far as like we're saying long-term relationship with you're in, will I stay long-term in this relationship? I am with a polyamorous woman. The Two of Cups came out when you asked that question. So I think this partnership will grow, but I also think this partnership, the Devil card, is meant for you to dive deeper into the physical expressions, into the physical intimacy. Right, and understanding that level of such, right? We have to be in sync. So we have to be very spiritual, very intellectual, emotional. We also have to be very physical too, and understand how to connect that. So I feel in this case, and a lot of those I've seen in situations like this, there's been a lot of past karma of sexual repression, either because they were sexually abused or they were in a sexual cult in past incarnations, to where they're forced in this incarnation to expand out of that by being very liberal and very free sexually. It's a resolving a karma, and so in this case, I feel similar to that with you, Brandy, that I think you should learn from this polyamorous type of environment, and I feel the partnership will be like a ping pong match and such, so yeah, I definitely feel like that would be something very beneficial. So yes, I would say yes to both. Now, long term is very subjective. Like a year could be long term for somebody, or 2 years could be long term for somebody, or a lifetime. So I feel like a consistency. I can't determine if it's like lifelong, but I think you both will be learning from this, and both have sexual trauma that needs healing, and I think that's what you both will explore. Okay. All right, let's get Mandy on in. Mandy, I don't see your camera. You're gonna have to turn your camera on because I don't see your camera visible. Let's get Mandy on here.
I don't know.
There she is.
Hold on.
Gotcha. Okay, you pause it. Perfect. Yeah, because who wants to be backstage and be seen, right? Backstage.
Well, I don't know how to do it. Hold on. I think I did it. I don't know.
You got it.
Hi.
There you go. Hi, love. How you doing, my sweetheart?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you. So, what's your question?
So last night you did a podcast, right, with Christopher, and you started talking about like past life and those kind of things, and you touched on that a little bit with my reading. And so I was just wondering, I think I put a couple of questions in the chat, but is there, like, how do I do this?
Don't be Virgo now.
What past life experience is most relevant to assisting me in my spiritual potential?
Well, there's a few. If with you, there's a collaboration of two. There's a occult past life and the sexual sex worker, past life. Okay, so because I feel there was a sex worker energy wrapped in with addiction, right? Energy that you experience, but I feel like that's a theme. Remind me if that's you are sober, right? Went through sobriety and addiction,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Okay, and
425 days today.
Got how much?
425.
You go, girl. And I remember telling you now that about working with people with addiction. Great. So that like sex worker addiction energy is part of that, brings in this fluidity that you need. It's kind of what we were just talking about in the last question, but then also the energy with occult magic that you have history of. And so I think like bringing those both in. So, okay, what does that mean to flip the addiction into its positive end of the spectrum? That means you're very balanced. That means you understand the energy within, but that also helps to enhance your mystical abilities and your mystical talents, right? So you definitely want to activate, okay, then what was I good at when it came to energy work and mysticism and the occult energy? You want to understand all this now, right. Because if this is now I'm remembering things we've talked about, that if you look at your life, both are your life is in that duality, the addiction energy, right? The impulsive energy, and also now the mystical energy. So it's time to merge both in the positive sense. I don't feel, and I have a lot of people with past life energy, occult energy. I have a lot of people that come to me who have that, because I have that, and I'm doing something with it in this lifetime. So it makes sense. But you were not doing it in a way that was, like a lot of people I see that come in this situation. You weren't doing it in a way that was beneficial for people. It was dark, like revengeful type of thing, right? And so healing from that, right, and saying, well, it doesn't have to be revengeful. There's a power that can use that can be expansive and actually help and heal. And so that's the theme. Those are the two past incarnations that I feel like are really kind of bleeding into this current incarnation.
So what era would that occult one have been?
That feels like, to me, mid 1800s. Yeah, mid 1800s. You've had a lot of, since the incarnations since then, you've had a lot of experiences of like intuition, but never really like hit on it. You've always been the person that was very intuitive in your other past lives and very empathetic. So you always had that. You never fully dived back into it since, though. But I also think you've been rendering karma and the lessons that you've inflicted on people in that incarnation. You're like, well, I want to learn what I've inflicted and have more understanding. And so you had lifetimes you experienced such, like being a sex worker and actually being a slave to somebody, right, and going through the addiction of losing yourself. Yes. Well, I say that more figuratively, because as sex workers, those who don't really love it, they become a slave to people's desires and others' desires. They feel a slave to it, and so I think that you had a lot of that free spirit energy that you just then gave it away because you pulled a lot from the previous incarnations. So you learn what it's like to be humbled, and more to running away from yourself to find yourself in this incarnation, to find the balance.
So would the possible sex stuff transfer into this life? Like if I have issues being close in that way?
Well, I think that how that interprets is, you're within your relationships more so, about acceptance and value and worth.
Mine?
Yours. Yeah.
Okay.
How much are you willing to receive? How much can you allow yourself to have for yourself without having to do in return for somebody? Right? So you understand the export and import of energy. I've noticed a lot of people who've dealt with addiction. I've been studying it for so long. I have so many friends who are in AA or sponsors in AA, and I've always was like studying this for so many years, quite a few, actually a few decades actually. And I had people close to me, and I just looked at the patterns. I studied the patterns of people in addiction. All of them have so much energy that they don't find an outlet to disperse it. So it's imbalance. So they end up just trying to pacify and numb it, or they have so much energy built up that's unresolved they have to pacify. So either way, there's a lot of energy that's not being distributed or dispersed. And so for you, there's a lot of this energy that just needs to be expressed, but you have to understand that not only expressing it, what do you appreciate, and how valuable are you to receive that in return from people and others and life in itself. So it's more about acceptance of self and receptivity and understanding that value and that balance. I think the spiritual gateway and go back into the occult mysticism is what's kind of triggering and bringing more of that sense of self back to you.
So more with the occult work that I'm drawn to, dive more into that.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
But the occult thing is more, again, translated into like healing work, mysticism, right? Just mystical work. It was very kind of like ritualistic back in the day, and we've evolved to where we don't have to be. We could be more intentional, more just kind of more focused now. We don't have to be all wearing the hoods and all that stuff anymore because we've evolved.
I do have a cloak.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to, but I think you have the cloak simply because of the fact that, you probably resonate with that from your past incarnation. So you're bringing a piece of your past to reignite the information in your DNA. So I think it was a good thing if you do bring some of those elements of past, of that ritualistic type of format, because it will enlighten or illuminate the memories from your past life to give you more direction why you're intended to do it in this lifetime and be clearer. So that's good. I mean, you weren't joking about the cloak. You actually do have the cloak.
Yeah.
Bring it out. Not right now, but saying bring it out and like feel it and try to see if you can remotely connect to that past life where you actually were in that position.
Wow. Okay.
You'll get a lot of downloads from doing that.
Wow. Okay.
I I don't think you realize how the funny thing is you don't think you're as evolved as you really are. That's the funny thing in this incarnation. You'll joke about you'll probably laugh about that when you pass on. Like, oh my gosh, I thought I was so not evolved, and I evolved so much, and I was so many positions of high power at some point in your incarnation that I think I want you to tap into that in this incarnation. I don't want you to wait until you're done. I want you to start trying to tap into those past incarnations to remind that you were in positions of power. You had a lot of expansions in the work that you were doing, that you had so many different hierarchies, that you have evolved.
Wow. Yeah, we'll probably end up just needing to do another private reading.
That's going to be, we'll get in more in depth. Yeah, I'm trying to simplify for the shortness of time here, but yeah, you'll be able to identify that more in a session. More specifically, but keep it simple. I don't even think you have to, though. I think just keep it simple now and saying like it's about acceptance, self-love, in and out of ebb and flow of intimate energy and expression in that sense, and also really taking this mystical energy and power I've always had and actually doing something really productive with it in the way that's going to help and benefit other people around me. That's the initial point here.
That's what I really want to do, and I feel like sometimes that I'm blocking myself on how best to do it. And so I'm still kind of navigating what is the best way for me to do the reading.
You'll never get an answer to a question like that. If you ask what's the best way, you'll never get an answer. Say, what is myself. I know, but ask yourself, what is my preferred way? Okay. We have to be careful with our language, because what's best is very judgmental. Spirit won't resonate with that answer. Trust me, I've been channeling Spirit for a long time. So you got to say, what is my preferred path? What is my unique expression here that resonates with my expression, with the work that I'm doing? Boom, answers all over the place. Okay? So again, we have to be clear, because you do have some of your language has vibrations of past experiences that are very self-deprecating. Okay. And so that's why it's good, like situations like this, to remind you, maybe I'm just saying the wrong things. It's all about my preference. What do I want? What do I want? Just keep it simple. What do I want? And then when you come from that context, you'll get different answers. I promise you.
Okay.
I've been there too. I've been on that side as well. That's why I'm talking about it. So, and I understand things flipped when I started being more center focused on what do I really need to express, what I'm here to express, not so much a judgment of like some sort of hierarchy in a sense, that'll bring more clarity to you. Bring out that robe. Say, I want to tap into the things I'm connected to in my past essences, and maybe be ritualistic in that way for a little bit to reignite that energy. Yeah, because I think you when you do, you'll be so more on point with your intuition, with what your reads on things. You'll notice you're like, wow, I'm kind of like, it's sharp. Like you just have to reignite it. Then you realize how sharp you are, because you already are evolved in that way.
Okay. And so just again, I can re-listen because I'm recording it, but just so the occult stuff, I was dark. Yes, I mean, look, my reality is dark and light is necessary. And so, but you were just very vengeful in the way you've done it, and you need to experience it. I was very dark in my, my days of being, higher up in the mysticism and so forth. But we had to have that version. So this is the version now I'm doing in a way that's now going to be more expansive. So we all have to experience a duality of things. So, but you definitely experience that. So you're completing the cycle now by saying, okay, this is the way I want to expand it. Then you complete that. You've mastered mysticism on all accounts. That's the point of the soul expression. Yeah, we're actually evolving and we're checking the box. I know all about the mysticism, good and bad. So all right. Well,
good for you.
See you soon. Thank
good
you
for
so
you.
much. This was fun.
I'm very, very, very happy for where you're going. I'm very happy for this position you are in, and congratulations on the 400 and whatever days that you said. Congratulations on that.
Thank you, Scott.
Good work. All right, my love. Have a wonderful night. Good to see you. Ciao.
See you soon. Bye.
Ciao. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Lot to learn too from even some of these reads or these conversations that we're having, because understand, like, I think Mandy's like finding her groove. Even though she's still questioning her groove, like she's finding her groove. And I had made a joke to Sydney, my sister, yesterday, that like, I got a groove back with leading out loud. Christopher and I were just like, got our groove back and leading out loud. So if you've watched the episode, watch it. If you didn't see it last night, watch it, the replay. we're back in our groove again, Christopher and I, I'm thinking out loud. So I feel like Mandy's finding her groove, you know? And so don't be so hard. And if you don't understand the exact expressions, you know, we're meant to explore. Have fun with the exploration of the expressions. Dabble a little bit. That's the point. That's the fun. Okay? So good stuff. Good to hear with that, Mandy. I'm so excited to see Mandy's growth, to be honest with you. I get so excited when people are new in their journeys or new in their evolution or starting their evolution, you know, or start to like take that rhythm started. I get excited about that because I'm like, oof, I can't wait to see 6 months down the road, a year down the road, and see that transformation. I'm like obsessed with transformation. I used to love to watch those makeover shows. Have you guys watch those makeover shows when you're younger? I was obsessed of seeing the transformation for people, you know, or people taking like these, like even like Project Runway, like taking these like crap materials and turning it into, transforming it into like these wonderful pieces. I used to love shit like that. I'm obsessed with seeing people transform. So that's why I do this work, because then I can see people transform. So I'm always happy doing the work that I do and always excited, right? That just rang a bell to me. All right, let's be quick here. We got Jai. One asked about career. I asked for a promotion at work. Do you see that happening, and how much growth will I see there? I feel a delay in the promotion. The promotion might happen more next year. I feel like there'll be a yes, but a delay on it. Right? Like, yeah, but we got to wait till this time, right? So there's a yes. It might be an issue of timing. It could be like, oh yeah, we'll do it, but we'll do it in like first quarter of 2026. It's something of that nature. Don't take the specific date, you know, verbatim, you know. But I would definitely just, you know, understand that yes, but they'll set a certain timing, not because of you, it's because of the economy. But that in quotes, which I think people need to stop reacting to the economy and start. Keep going on, you know, participating in reality the way you can, the best way you can, because that keeps the economy going. We don't let politics dictate the economy. We still continue doing what we're doing, and we do it rationally, and we participate in a way that, you know, if money is low, then you still participate, but you do it in the way you can, and in your means. Okay, so yeah, so you definitely just want to, you know, understand that's why it might be a delay, but I feel like a yes on that. I also made Vanny my girlfriend. There you go. Good. We're very connected. We're well over a few dates we've had. Advice on our sustained growth. Again, I'm going to pat myself on the back because people may or not remember the story. I told Jai, he's been asking about love for a while. I told him I saw like 2 people coming in this year, and then after 2 people, there'll be, you know, a relationship or something after that. Well, he had 2 connections this year that were not good, and now this is the 3rd person he met, and she is actually someone that's of interest, and that's good to hear. It's going well. Sustained growth. Like, remember, I told you she's very sensitive, right? Which is not a bad thing. Show her balance, right? Which means you keeping your balance. You don't overly participate. You want to be yourself, but you don't want to overly accommodate, right? But you want to also show up too and show her that she could be safe with you and comfortable with you. I think she has an abandonment issues, you know, to a certain degree. You know, not so bad, but a little abandonment issues. And so be consistent, but also don't be too giving too much. I think that will sustain growth for both parties. Because then she'll feel comfortable enough to be herself around you without you doing it for her. And then at the same time, you'll be like, you feel like you're not being taken advantage of, which I don't think she's trying to do. I think she's trying to find someone to be safe with. Do I see staying in that company long term? Yeah, I mean, again, it depends when you say long term. I think you'll evolve from it in a couple years, within a couple years. And evolve from it means that you've leveled up, Jai, right? So I think the company there, yeah, you'll be with for some time, but then there'll be a leveling up, right? And so yeah, long term, yes, but I also see a leveling up too. So it's not forever. Okay. But what you're doing right now, keep doing. I think for the most part, Jai, all you need is someone to say, "Good job." You know, I don't think you have much of that mentorship or role models enough, right? And so when people come to me as a psychic, and that's why I put mentor, because I make sure I develop my work along the decades of doing my work, of making sure I want to understand people, psychology, the brain, the mind, spirituality, how it connects, to be the mentor. and understand how people need it, to be able to use my psychic awareness to understand, well, how do people need to be mentored or encouraged, or how do they need a cheerleader? So for you, I just like, you need the validation that you are doing what you should be doing, and you're doing it the way you should be doing it. I've always said it, and I've seen it. It's unfolding the way it's happening, right? So yes, I think that you should definitely understand that you'll be there for some good period of time, but you'll evolve out of that. That long term could be a year or 2 years. You might accelerate your growth. But either way, it's preferred. Okay. Good job, Jai. See? Yes, Jai, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Follow through. We'd love to hear about that too. So, congratulations. I have to say, so far, pat myself on the back shoulder too. I'm actually, when I pat my back, I pat Spirit on the back, because I think Spirit's amazing. Spirit, the essence of soul consciousness, is just amazing to me. It's fascinating to me. But I'm seeing these reads. People are having movement. Just saying, he's moving. Stephanie's career is moving. She's moving toward relationships. Jai's moving in his relationships. See the movement? Mandy's moving in her direction of understanding her value and worth and her mystical ability. See the movement going on now with people now, guys? If we went back maybe last year, there's no movement. People are complaining, or people are stuck, or people are frustrated. Go back a year ago, you'll see in the readings that we've done. Or even a few months ago, you'll start seeing them. But like, we're starting to see the movement happening now during this time. So I'm only patting myself on the back so you guys can take heed on the collective messages, and don't take them for granted. That's the reason why I'm doing that. Next we have, let me check my PayPal. Beth, are you here today, Beth? I wonder if Beth has a question. I have to check my PayPal. Hey, Sarah, good to see you. I just see you in the room. You're moving. Interesting. Good. It's a good time to move. Good time to move. Right. Good for you. I'm excited. I need to catch up with you, girly girl. Need to catch up with you. It's been some time. I'm in Nevada now. I love it. I just got my driver's license. My new Nevada driver's license today. Freaking love it. And it's the first driver's license I'm actually smiling in. All my driver's licenses look like mug shots. I'm like, Jesus, why not smile? But here in Nevada, she says, smile. The people here are so friendly. And then when they're telling you to smile, there was one girl, she's like, you might want to take another one. And then she smiles, goes, that's a good one. So the people here are so kind. The woman that was taking the pictures at DMV was hilarious. With me, it was like one shot. She was fine. I'm like, I don't need another one, you know? So I was actually, first license, I'm actually smiling in. So that's good, right? Okay. Next we have Catherine Young. All right, we're going to shut down the readings. I'm backed up, and I don't want to go too long tonight, so we're just going to close down readings if you could announce it. And those, what would I have next here? We have James Porterfield is next. We have Beth, as we knew. I knew Beth was lingering there. And we also have Horses Trigger Hope is also next. You're in the queue, okay? And then who else was on my Venmo? James, and then Chelsea, and then Sarah was the final. You got yours in just in time, Sarah. But we got to keep these short too, because I get exhausted. So let's keep it short and sweet. All these, and I'm gonna keep these short and sweet. These questions, and good, because I can go on and I will exhaust myself, and my partner is like, I haven't really had much time to spend with them today. Okay. Catherine Young. What the heck? You're still offering random card pulls? You know, I heard my support you. However, I'm losing 107,000 to a bandit I'm in. What? I accept what card pull this horror New Zealand to United foreign exchange rate brings, since my next 4 years is always depressing. Saturn being the main culprit. Love you. You also feel you. I hope and believe you enjoy being you. Okay, that's nice, Kate Yo. But let's pull a card for you anyway. I know. I was like thinking today. I'm like, I forgot to make the digital fortune cookie thing. So at some point, I'm going to do that. I'm going to make the digital fortune cookie thing. Or maybe like a channeled writing thing. You know, something like that. You know, I'll get. I just want to change that. Because I want to make it more exciting for you, and like a phrase you can remember. Like I may just write a phrase, something like that. I'm gonna think about that. Not that I hate doing if you're doing, but you know, I think no one's done the card pulls. I don't mean to deter you from card pulls, but look at this. Wow. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Michaela. Happy Pride Month. Exactly. My mom was like, Scott, you need a whole month for Pride? I said, well, if people keep resisting us and they don't leave us alone, we're going to take a fucking year next. So I get the annoyance of having a month for Pride, but it's only because in 2025, people are still fighting against it, not leaving us alone. We want to be left alone, actually. But people are just so trying to make a point, like, let us live the way we want to live. Let us marry who we want to marry. Just back the fuck off, and then we won't be in your face anymore. So at first, there's a period of time where it annoyed me, you know, the Pride stuff. But now I'm starting to understand with all these, you know, these political people and these fundamental Christians and evangelical Christians like being louder about it. It's like, well, come on, that we've not evolved about this. So yeah, we're gonna be louder about it. And so and sometimes the more you put it in someone's face, they'll just like whatever and get over it. My community's more fed up about like, why don't you just leave us the fucking alone than the fact that we need to throw it in your faces. And Pride Month isn't about the fact that we are same sex. Pride Month is more about the fact that we have actually had to stand up against bigotry and stand up against discrimination and to be an active participant in society without letting it tear us down. That's what Pride Month is about. So people think we're just flaunting our sexuality. It has nothing to do about that. We don't care about flaunting our sexuality. We care about being liberated. Big difference. So many people are perverting Pride Month, which pisses me off because we don't need you to know who we're sleeping with. Matter of fact, we'd rather you not know who we're sleeping with. What we're talking about is liberation. Okay? And it took us so much time that we had to like be able to hold our partner's hand in public or just announce that we have same-sex partner. We shouldn't have to be uncomfortable about that shit. We shouldn't be uncomfortable how I choose to express myself because it makes you uncomfortable. So the more it makes you uncomfortable, the louder it's going to be. So if you don't like Pride Month and it bothers you, prepare to get louder if you keep continuing that essence. You should be in support of those who feel liberated, and you should make you feel liberated as well. And Pride Month is inclusive to everybody. So it's not about being gay. We welcome a lot of other people to Pride Month as well. And why did my lights just turn off, Eric? I like the lights turned off at that time. So we really have to understand this, you know. Let me just do that here. Oof, so bright. Sorry, guys. Let me fix the lights here. I think they're on a schedule. Here we go. Is it back to normal? Okay. So we have to understand this. And so, you know, we didn't even, I personally don't need a month, don't need a day, but if it doesn't resolve and people just don't shut the fuck up about it already, then I'm on board with the Pride Month now. I'm over it in 2025. People are so uncomfortable about the fact that someone loves another person or just wants to be with another person. It's like, meanwhile, these people are gay themselves or they're having affairs and living detestable lives, and we have to prove ourselves to you. And I always flip it. I say, what if you had to defend yourself or you couldn't be expressed about your same-sex partnership? What if someone tell you can't love your wife or your husband? What if someone told you that? How would you feel? And what if someone demeaned you and failed to have you be an active participant in society just because of who you're choosing to marry on your straight relationship? How would you feel? Right? Get over it, people. Get over it. And happy Pride Month. I mean, Pride Month is, again, we've endured so much bullshit through religion, through society, through politics, that we're still standing strong and we're not going to be teared down. We're not going to be treated like we're subhuman just because we choose to like the same sex. Get over it, people. We're not, what are we, 12? I don't want to know who you're sleeping with. Don't worry about who I'm sleeping with. But understand, we existed before and we thrived before. We're going to continue to exist. And we exist now and we will continue to exist. We ain't going anywhere. And if diversity scares you, be prepared, because like the title of this show is, you know, where the fuck we going? We're going to where we're going to be forced to understand the differences in society and how people choose to live their lives. That your modality of living and thinking is outdated, old, and not going anywhere, which is why we're in our society and why people have their heads in the sands, because it's trying to remain traditional, but they're afraid to be who they are, so they're doing underground. They're suppressing themselves, so they attach onto superficial fixes. Why? Because of outdated societal standard, which is creating the deprivation. So until y'all who are on the opposing end of that understand that, we'll take 2-3 fucking months until you get it. I'm over it. I'm done with this. So yes, we need a month at this point until people freaking get it through their freaking heads. It's ridiculous. Okay, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was doing a card pull for Kate Yo. I got distracted by that because I'm so annoyed with this repetition of people who are just suppressive of thought, suppressive of expression, suppressive of someone different than them. Oh well, that's where we're going. Differences. Kate Yo. I remember the cards. I reshuffled them in, but it actually said it was talking about patience and manifestation. And so, learn patience. You're in a situation where you have to understand what patience is, and that you might be rushing to get out of circumstances that you be patient with the circumstance you're in. They're leading you somewhere. That's what the cards are saying to you, Kate. Okay, and you'll understand that you've been missing the lesson, so it's been on repeat, right, in different ways. Boom, and then you'll understand. Let me just be patient. What do I need to focus? What am I doing with here? And then boom, you'll start seeing movement. You'll be, oh, I get it. Why this has kept happening to me, or I get why it's been a repetition in my life, right? So that was a simple card pull, and even though you were just showing me appreciation, I'm going to get a card pull too. Hey, Rashida, good to see you. Welcome aboard. Yeah. And another thing that where we're headed next is part of the conversation I could add to, like fundamental religions and extremist religions are going to be buried under the hatchet. People can still believe they want to believe and have the religious context. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the religious extremism is going under. It's not going to survive this shift. It's not going to survive the paradigm shift. So, and I have no compassion. Not that I don't have compassion, but I don't have any care about those people going under. Just don't care. If you're a parasite to society, got to pluck it out. Just like people say, "Oh, no, Scott, that's not a positive to say." Well, if you have a virus in your body, a cancer virus in your body, that's life. That life is trying to stay alive. It's feeding on its host. But it's a cancer to you. You got to kill the virus, right? There are people in society and people in part of our collective consciousness that are like viruses, and they're preventing the growth of our species, so they must be plucked off. Period. Done deal. I don't care how you think of that, how it is. That's how life works. It's actually in the Bible, in the biblical text. God did it. Didn't God kill off many people in civilizations just because? So, let's get real here about that. All right, no more ranting. Question from Beth L. We love Beth. We love Beth. We love Beth. There were a couple of women staring me down at church talk Sunday evening. Made me uncomfortable. Which is what they want. How should I handle this, or what should I do to leave me alone, and could I enjoy my time? Speaking of religious freaks, Beth, don't you understand that these people in your particular church, and those of you who've been hearing Beth's reads for a while, and I've been talking with Beth for a while before I'd done my live shows, these people are weird. The one she specifically goes to, her church, not all churches, but this one is quite weird and very, I would say, sexually discombobulated. But the question is, why is it bothering you? Right? Who cares? You have to find a way to not care about what their intentions are. You don't know them. They don't have any bearing on your life. Right? So what you do is you can just look back and just like wave, say hi, and it's like, what are you looking at? Right? And just like draw attention to the fact that they're staring and just like, hello, that's what I would do. Right? But they're summing you up and they're being very judgmental about your appearance, about, perhaps maybe you're being a little more, expressive with your appearance, and that's what it is. And so, but I think that's what they all do there in your specific church. Not uncommon, by the way. But I really feel that you should, just draw attention and make a cheeky joke. I was like, hello, and walk away. Like, okay, like, what are you looking at? And ask yourself, why do you care about that? What bearing does it have on your life? It doesn't, right? So I personally, in those situations, go, hello, and if you're really daring, I would like pose for them, start posing, so, but they're summing you up, and I think a lot of it is, like I said the last time, you might be also amplifying that energy. Don't do that. Don't amplify that energy either. All right, here's Horse's Trigger, Hope, C. Henry. Hey Scott, I've been feeling unmotivated for a few weeks. Now I finally feel like I have some energy and optimism, but don't know where to put my focus. I would love a virtual fortune cookie message for the week. Thank you for the idea. Love you. Okay. I didn't have motivation for the past couple weeks. Matter of fact, I just took some downtime. Like I cut my clients and like down by 90% for a week. And that was hard for me, you know, because I'm like, no, I got to have my bookings. And like, no. So I did. And I'm starting to feel the same thing you are. And so here's going to be a simple fortune cookie. You know, sometimes allowing yourself to not focus will show you where you should focus. So perhaps don't even try to figure out what to focus on. Write it out. Write out this kind of no motivation for a little bit. That's the present energy, right? Just kind of just be like, I don't need to have a specific direction right now. I don't need to participate in anything right now. Let me just like do what I need right now. Let me keep things simple for a little bit. Write it out. That's what I would say to do. And then what that's going to do is going to show you where you really need to focus. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say, my love. And then you'll be back on the bandwagon. You know, I've been feeling like, oh my God, I got to do something different with my work. I want to grow my channel and beat myself up because like I'm not promoting my numbers and numbers are low and all this stuff. I'm like, now I'm starting to feel that part of being on a YouTube now. Now I'm starting to care when I didn't care before. So I'm trying to think, what should I do differently? Do I need to do my messages differently? Do I need to do something else different? So, and I become judgmental. And I'm like, instead of becoming judgmental about it, say, okay, I've done well up to this point. How do I want to transform my online presence? Right? Because I still feel like I might have to be sensationalized a little bit because people are not buying the in-your-face truth approach. A lot of people, it's too much. They don't want that quick revelation, I would say. But even though they need it, so I'm thinking, how can I evolve it, or how can it change expression? So allow yourself to marinate in those things, karma. Okay, and it'll come. Okay. All right. Chelsea, we'll do this and we'll do 2 live videos. Is my husband's procedure going to go well tomorrow? Are they going to make me cancel all my audition rotations I've already set for school since I took the teaching fellowship? These are things that's like not so predictable. Your husband's procedure, nothing feels like there's karmically involved that where his procedure is going to go bad. You know, I mean, I can't answer that question, but I can answer and say that, you know, those doing the procedure seem to be in tune. Those who are doing the procedure seem to know what they're doing, so I'll say that. If they screw up or not, I can't predict that. You know, and especially because there's no karma that he's dealing with that says he's intended to have a procedure go wrong because of the certain issue. I don't, there's nothing of that there. And so this, like I said before, randomness does exist in this world. So not everything's laid out. So do I feel procedure? I feel like those who are doing the procedure seem they know what they're doing, seem that they're capable enough to do the procedure well. So it shouldn't have an issue. Okay, if it's going well tomorrow, how the hell? That's something that I can't predict that. If they're going to maybe slip and make a mistake, or something happens unexpectedly, something random happens, I can't predict that. And that's only because there's no karma attached to it. Now, if there's karma attached to it, that he needs to experience some nature, I'm like, oh, this is going to go well, or I felt like those doing the procedure don't have the wherewithal to do so, or they're being misguided, then I'd feel that. And I was like, you might not want to do that. So let's understand how the future works, guys, when it comes to these little micro steps in reality. Because I think that people misunderstand. I think everything is written in this book, and it's not. It's not. So we have to understand where we're posing our questions on things like that. And another question here: are they going to make me cancel all of my audition rotations I've already set up for school since I took the teaching fellowship? The best answer I can give on that, because I don't know how they're going to decide on that part. I think fundamentally, maybe partial. It doesn't feel like all or nothing. Maybe you'll have to renegotiate certain other things you've set up already, but to do so. But I don't feel a complete answer on, like a complete yes on that either. So it feels like most likely you might have to let go of something that you've set up before, but not all. Right? That's kind of the most, I would say, probable outcome on that regard. Right? So no. But again, we have to understand, and I'm trying to be very vocal about these types of questions so people stop answering it in this format. Because I think people need to understand an outcome to some because they can't deal with anxiety. So for me, I'm the reader that would rather deal with your anxiety than try to pacify you with an answer to something that might not happen. The issue here is anxiety. And so we got to address the anxiety because not every question is going to give you an answer. Not every question is going to render an outcome. We need to understand about reality. And if that gives you anxiety, then uncertainty it's providing anxiety to you because you're not allowing yourself to be conscious and certain about how you're going to navigate moving forward. And I'm here to help people navigate, not pacify. So when these questions come up, I have to tell how to navigate it and understand the questions just coming from anxiety. Especially when there are questions like, will I pass a test, or questions of, am I going to get my driver's license, or, stuff of that nature that are so specific on something that's so not rendering in the stars. That there's another issue that needs to be addressed that I'd rather go for than actually just pacifying with a yes or no answer. And I'm expecting that people who understand, so they understand the work that I do, I'm here to make sure you don't have problems again, and make sure you're clear, not just keep, pacifying questions of predictions of things just because you're suffering from anxiety. I want to work on the anxiety. There's a lot of people that do that. Okay, James Porterfield. James, brother, I love you. We got to keep it quick though. I'm going to send you the link. So look out for that because I have 2 more. But we got to let's keep these live readings quick. Now, and I'm saying to help me because I'll go on. I won't stop myself, but I have to. So help me do that, okay? Because I have to try to get my get myself in check when I overextend my time or self. So, thank you, Kate. I love you. Thank you so much. And you and yeah, my family is amazing too. And those that support me. My hair's starting to fluff over here. I'm getting a little warm in the studio. Is it too high? Am I starting to look like Christopher now with the high hair? All right, James, I sent you the link. Click on that link. And the next will be, after that would be for Sarah. So click the link, James, get on in. And Sarah, I'll send you the link. See whoever comes in first so I don't have to wait. And please help me keep these short, guys. I love you because I can talk to you guys forever. For a long time, but I can't. I don't have the time to do so. So help me do that. So why can't I just respond to Sarah? Okay, Sarah, I'm sending you the link too, so you can go in. Okay. All right. Okay. Go in. And to dovetail what I was saying before, what is predictable when you're in your purpose? I can predict the fuck out of stuff. When you're going the right direction, oh my God, it's like the predictions are so fucking bam, 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 like times, dates, people, like it's so clear. When you're not, I can say this might happen here, this might go here. When you're not in your zone. When you're in your zone, it's so easy. And you don't have to be like overly mystical and spiritual to be in your zone. Just like, I'm kind of like, I'm listening to myself. I'm doing what I want to do. Oh, it's so much easier. What's predictable is reading people. I can read people, what their intentions with you and what they're going to be doing with that. That's easy to read too. But circumstantial stuff like this, and I'm going to be honest, a lot of readers will say yes or no just to appease you. I'm like, I'm not playing that bullshit like other psychics do. I'm going to be honest with you, right? With people that ask those questions and get to the root of what's going to really heal you, right? That's my main goal to read people is to understand how to heal. So understand the things that are and are not predictable. Expect things that are karmic lessons are very predictable for me, and as a reader, when you set intentions and things are actually in motion, the movement of manifestation, those are predictable. A lot of things are somewhat predictable. Like if someone is attracting a certain energy, I can kind of predict like lightly, kind of where that would be heading. So those are things that are predictable. And Sarah and James, I'm waiting on you to call in, guys. Where are you? I'm waiting. There we go. There's James. Okay. I'm like, where are these people? Come on. Hold on. Let me get you in. All right, Sarah, we got James. James beat you to the punch, Sarah. James beat you to the punch. What's going on, man? I can't hear you. Your sound's not on. There you are. Yeah, there you are. All right, what's going on, brother? We got. I hate to say, but I can talk to you forever. I got to keep it short. I have Sarah too. Keep it short. So, be very blunt with me. What do you want to talk about?
I'm not good at being blunt.
You're not going to be. Oh, well, then be emotional with me.
No, I'm good at. I'm blunt. It's just.
Good. Be emotional. Well, see, last time you had, remember that the last time was last time that your mic actually stopped working because the Spirit's like, listen. Now Spirit's like, all right, get to the point. Let's not beat around the bush. Now that's the lesson today, James. Okay.
No, it'd be like, I guess, something to be straight to the point is, how the hell do you follow Spirit when it's so illogical? Right? Because I took my trip, I went and took my trip. I went, even though, we talked and other people talked and said I shouldn't go, and just was like, on a certain level, I was just like, I'm betting on myself. Fuck it, I'm going.
Okay.
I'll figure it out. And I wasn't going to beat myself. I'm not beating myself up about it.
Good.
But, like, on the way there, right, got this push to do something so illogical that I didn't listen, and ended up coming right back to the very space where I got pushed. And but it was so like, saying like, okay, well, this is I was supposed to fly out one ways, ended up flying out the place that I flew into, but I was tired. I was on a red-eye flight. I just wanted to get some sleep.
Sure.
So it's like, how do you follow something that sounds, that for me right now is so illogical?
Right. So let me step in. Right. Let me step in because the first thing is there was a point in time you were not aware of the intuitive impulses. Right. So there's a point in time where we were not aware of intuitive impulses, like in earlier years and so forth. Right. Let me finish. Don't jump in. You got to listen. Remember the lesson of listening from last week. Good. So now you're getting to a point in your evolution that these impulses are now becoming louder to you. So part of that learning curve is like, I didn't follow it. I heard it, but goddamn, now I saw I didn't follow it. It worked out the way I didn't think it didn't work out. So that's part of your growth is actually not listening to it and then seeing, oh my God, I should have. That's part of the evolution. So once you start seeing that, don't shake your eyes. Come on, don't shake your head. Once you start understanding that, oh God, and that's what really got me to really trust it and follow it when it's illogical, because I started recognizing every time I didn't listen to it, I was right, or I should have, So that's part of the learning curve. So I always say too, when you have these things come up, like, consider it. So ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen if I followed it? And say, well, really nothing. So then consider it and follow it. Just see, explore it. You're not going to all of a sudden impulsively say, I'm going for it. You might have to sit and talk to yourself about it. You might have to say, well, I'm not going to take it, but let me see what happens if I don't. This is part of the exploration phase of building more of that trust. It's part of the process. And part of the process is you need to learn by not listening to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
James. I was going to come over there and put my arm around you, bud. But see, you're giving yourself shit, but my view is like, oh wow, good. He's like getting these impulses now that he can see, that he's feeling now. Okay, he didn't take it, but that's part of the process when you're evolving. After amount of times, you're like, I didn't listen to it, goddamn, I should have. Then you'll start following it naturally. You know what I'm saying, James?
Yeah, but
no buts. No buts. Take it. Don't challenge what I'm saying. I do this for a living for several decades. Don't butt me on this. I'm telling you, this is my expertise. And I'm not trying to be a dick about that, but like I'm saying, you always want to counter something that makes it difficult for you. What was that?
Mosquito.
Oh, okay. Got it. But trust me when I say this to you, because the next time you have an impulse like this, you might start to consider it more because you didn't this time. So it's going to evolve. But I always say, if you want to jumpstart that, James, say to yourself, what would be the worst? What would be the worst thing that could happen if I did consider this? And you realize nothing, and you'll consider it. Okay, so you didn't. So that's more advanced, and I think that's good. So you had a more advanced thing, right? And so, a quick story about my Bronco. I was in a Tesla lawsuit, right? And I'll just kind of tell you like how it didn't make sense, right? But I followed it. Tesla lawsuit. I was in the middle of it, so I was almost done with the lawsuit, but I didn't get the money from the settlement, right? Yet, but something told me, well, go look at Broncos. Go look at a Bronco. I wanted a Bronco so badly. Go look for one. I'm like, right now, like impulsively, I'm like, I gotta go. I feel like I feel like I'm gonna walk away with the Bronco tonight. Doesn't make sense. I didn't get my settlement money, but whatever. And so I went, and when I pulled up, they had the one that I wanted on the hill, featured. When I got to drive, and we arrived in the parking lot at 111. Okay, see the synchronicity. Then when I got in the car, and when I looked at how the time would be there, we were 1 mile away. Be there at 111. Then I got in the car, test drove it. It had 11 miles on it. Okay. Then I'm like, okay, I'm getting this, right? I'll just pull savings for the down payment and I'll replenish it when I get the money, right? And right when I shook my hands on it, it was 333 the time. So I'm like, okay. And so then when at the end, when I talked to the finance guy, they didn't tell me this. It's like, oh, did you know that we were doing, and I got a really good interest rate, by the way, on it for, and they go, did you know that we were doing a special, promotion on Broncos this month? It was ending in a week. So your interest rate would have been double, if you came a week later. I'm like, oh shit. So it made sense at the end, but when you consider to start taking those steps, you'll see synchronicities, you'll see things. It made no sense to me. For a month I had 2 cars. But then I understood when I surrendered my Tesla, I would have been without a car the settlement money for about a month, so I had no car. So it all worked out. But this was a very challenging one for you. It's an advanced one to trust. It's okay, but it's good for you to observe. You'll get ones where you feel a push, and it's more maybe on a rookie level or more of a beginner level where you're like, okay, I'll consider that. But it's good that you're getting an advanced impulse that you might miss your flight. So then the next time something smaller comes in, you will trust it. That's a test. We'll give you something big, so then next time when something small comes in, you won't question it. Do you understand that process?
Attempting to.
Oh gosh, James, you get it.
Well, okay, attempting to understand. I don't mean I might get it, but the thing is do I catch it? It's like,
But what don't you understand? What don't you understand about that?
Just okay. I guess I just lost this.
Yeah, well, don't you understand about what I'm saying about like this is looking at objectively from the fact that like you're learning about trusting your intuition. So yeah, there are gonna be things that come in that are like advanced like intuition pulls that you don't follow, but then you could objectively look at it and realize I should have done that. Or the next time something small comes around, you'll trust it. Like see as a development for you. See you're trusting your intuition as a development case because in your younger years you weren't so intuitive this way. Now you're starting to realize, hey, I'm intuitive. I have intuitive impulses. So that's going to expand from there. It's only going to evolve from there. And if you don't pay attention, it will expand a lot and more until you actually do grasp it. So I just want you to see your intuition as a development.
Oh, I mean, I think on a certain level, I've always listened to it, but it was more like stumbling through a dark room, fucking tripping over shit.
Well, now, but that's what I'm saying. But now you could see it better than you did before. That's the evolution of it, James, right? And so this could be more advanced, like, okay, take this bigger step. Like, oh, I don't know. It's like, it's okay you didn't take it. But now something else will come a little lesser that's greater than before, and then you'll actually end up considering it because of this experience. I've noticed that even with teachers, sometimes they'll throw a wrench in your learning curve that's like really out there to like throw your mind off. This way, when you come back to where you were at before, it's more digestible to learn and to evolve. So I feel like Spirit's just throwing a wrench of something more intense for you to consider, knowing you wouldn't take it, so you could be more reflective on that. And say, yeah, you might be ready to level up to start taking, certain decisions intuitively that may not make sense. But you'll be more in tune to it, though. You'll be more in tune to say, but I know it's leading me somewhere. That's your growth on it, instead of stumbling through a dark room, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that, because I feel like the trip was I've been asking friends, I'm like, and I don't know, say the same to you. It's like, is it possible to serve the ego and spirit at the same time?
Of course it is. The ego, we can't kill we shouldn't kill the ego. The ego is doing it. The ego, Exactly, good. But I'm saying, I think because people watching, they're told that a lot in the spiritual communities, and the ego does a great job for us. The ego is what, if I didn't nurture my ego, I wouldn't be on social media and go on stage and doing things if I didn't nurture the ego. The ego pushes me to like, yes, I can do this, and embracing the power. That's what the ego does, right? If the ego is doing the wrong jobs, it won't serve us. It will just keep us, safe, protected, isolate. Right? So yes, you could definitely, and I think the ego will help you push your higher purpose forward and push you with the confidence, because the ego wants to survive. It wants to, and so when the soul is thriving and the ego is, not in survival mode, it's in thriving mode. That's because the soul is guiding the ego, and the ego is able to fuel it. It's in sync, so absolutely. And I think this is your time to recognize that too. I think you are recognizing that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I bit off more than I could chew, and it's forcing me to
That's okay.
action that I'm not necessarily ready to do. Like, I mean, I was supposed to have a class tomorrow, actually, but my venue got canceled on me, and so I just kind of pivoted.
The venue that you were doing, the venue you told me that you were going to do, you were offering, you're saying?
Yeah.
So do it virtually.
I am.
Good.
I talked to you about it the other day.
Yes. So what I want you to do now is, because do you have any other questions, like really quickly to dive into, other than that? Because for time's sake.
No, I mean.
Good. Really. So now tell people what you're doing and what you're offering. Let's give you a little advertisement spot now. Go ahead. Go.
Oh shit. Okay. On January 10th. Yeah. Not next.
July or June? June. Yeah.
Actually, this next Tuesday.
Good. Okay.
Tuesday,
Perfect.
before the full moon, I'm going to be putting on a virtual breathwork detox session, where do some guided breathwork, kind of prepping and for the full moon, and I'm adding a little different things because I like human garage fascial maneuvers, and I believe that they're very good at prepping the body for the emotional and energetic release that breathwork can facilitate. And
so space, you're helping people to do the breathwork techniques, and which I've known that you actually you have a way of helping people. Yeah, you have a way of helping people with that. So how can they find you to do that and support you?
I guess the simple ones, because I don't have my website set up or anything like that. I just kind of acted. So if you hit me up on Instagram, my handle is real easy. Just put I am in front of my name. So
we'll have you'll put it in the chat, and then Nina will also tell people. Yeah.
I've tried to put it in the chat before, but it won't. Like, there's something in the @ thing that it won't come across. So I'll put parentheses, just I am.
Yeah, because the @ feature will mention someone on YouTube. Yeah. So just put Instagram handle and put the Instagram handle, and then people will find you. Yeah.
Just my name, and I am James Porterfield. So, hit me up, DM it. It's going to be donation based because I'm just trying to put together like my practice, and I need feedback. I need honest, like I said, was this good? Did you feel better? These kind of things, so I can hone my practice.
Yeah.
It's like the human garage and the breathwork detox is out there. Anybody can do. I guess what I would bring that's different to the table is my energy healing.
Right.
And my universal white time, and with people's permission, obviously in the class, I'll ask
Great.
for it.
Yeah. So when we disconnect this, put it in also type in the chat too, and then people can find you and we'll find you. So and text me too. Text me to remind me to again. So because I'm all over the place with my schedule, but text me to remind me, because I would love to at least direct people and show up too and participate if I don't have anything booked at that time.
And I did text you to say that you and your partner have a spot to come, because as a thank you.
Perfect.
For everything you've done for me and the help you're giving me. So just if you're open to it, I'd love to have you there.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, James, good to see you, man. But again, see your intuition too as a development phase. Okay? Keep analyzing it. Keep questioning it. You have to. I had to. We all do. So it's a good thing. You're doing the right thing by questioning it and observing it. Keep doing that, okay?
Yeah.
You got it. Again, we'll keep having check-ins. I know you're on the right track with that. So it's good. You're not just a channel to give to. You're not just a channel to nurture. You're also a channel to actually inspire yourself too. Don't forget, because you're really good at transmitting that energy for people and healing people that way. But you're also going to understand how to do it for yourself and guide yourself with it too. Now it needs to be for you as well, not just for people.
Well, yeah, it's like I've basically hit a wall in my healing journey where it's like in my breath work, it's basically for me when I breathe, it's come down and now my throat's
Good.
blocked where
Well,
I can't breathe.
Well, I mean that's temporary reactions because you probably you're just holding back too much a little bit, you know. Just I would say speak up more. Yeah.
True, but it's like it's said that if you get something, that if you don't act, you know, that all of a sudden you might have a block in that area. You know, like at least 8 months or so ago, I was doing a breathwork session and go share your story, and I was like, you know, not doing that, and just because I have for some reason I'll come on camera with you and Chris and those things, but me alone, I'm very hesitant for some reason.
But that's what you have to work on. I mean, most people I think that's, and I have Sarah in backstage, but I just want to say is most people wouldn't be able to do it online in public like this. Most people wouldn't be able to put themselves in front of people to look at this. Most people I just want to do it myself. I want to be by myself. And you're doing the hardest part, which is doing it in front of everybody else. And the easy part is doing it with yourself. So you'll work on that.
That's the hard part.
It's not though, but it's not. But it's not. But that's what I'm saying. It isn't. It shouldn't be. That it's easier to be by yourself and just to process and let your. The problem is you judge yourself too much and you give yourself too much shit that you condemn yourself too much. That's got to stop. That's not going to get you anywhere. But we'll talk about that more because I have Sarah here too. But you're in. I know you're in that process of that development of understanding that. So you'll start seeing what it grows, and you'll have the challenges of trying to trust intuition. But I'll be here to help you through it.
Yeah, well, human design
Just
is a martyr, so.
I'm just a text away, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. I love you, brother. I love you, man. Have a good night, okay? I appreciate you.
Love you too.
Bye. Love you. All right, Sarah, you're in the house. Sarah, she's working. She's working. Oh, look at this.
Hi.
What's going on, sweetheart?
Oh, I just miss you.
Oh, it's been a long time.
I know. I decided I'm navigating life alone at the moment.
Well, you look like you're glowing. You look well rested, and you look at peace. I will say this.
So much so.
Try to keep the camera I don't mean to tell you what to do, but try to keep the camera in one place because it cuts out when it moves, and I can't hear you. So if you can keep it still.
I'm holding
so I can hear you.
Now.
Okay, good. I don't want to dictate you, but I just want to make sure I can hear you. But what do you have for me? Do you want me to read something? What's going on? What do we talk about real quick?
No. I just wanted to catch up and say hello and that everything's good over here. I've had some movement.
Amazing.
A lot of great things.
And so the move, that's
got a
good.
Great guy that came into my life too. That's very giving.
Told you.
He's got more resources than I could ever imagine. So I
tell you that?
He's got a gazillion dollars more than I have, and land and houses everywhere. And it's just it's easy to just be receiving and rest there and peace and just providing that really safe space. He's super grounded, but I'm also really keeping my own life going and not immersing myself into it. It's going real slow. We talk a couple times a week, maybe go on one date a week. Perfect.
I told you this. I'm telling you. I said it's going to be slow. It's going to take its time. He's going to be very successful, have a lot of money, very giving. I told you all this the last time we had a session. Now you're here. But I'm glad you came on because all the other sessions were all about movement because I've been saying May, June movement for a lot of people and moving forward. And you're another person. You're the fourth person on that days are moving. Completely different than it was before, 3-4 months ago. You know? And remember we talked the last time, and I was like, that moment that you had, the last breakdown that you had, was, I would say, the finalization of that paradigm that brought this in. And here you are. Perfect. Good.
Taught me so much about staying present and not getting attached to anything and just staying centered. And like I kind of made a deal with spirit that as long as I'm in my circle, I'm going to stay in my circle. If anything comes in, I can play with it. If
Right.
it leaves, I can't go after it.
Right.
So, like,
Right. Exactly.
I
I
just
mean,
stay
right.
centered.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm very happy about this. So where are you relocating to? Where are you doing the move? Where's the move?
No, that's the move. It's
What's the move?
energetic movement.
Oh,
It's
good. Perfect.
just
Awesome.
having a
Awesome.
change in that relationship space
Right.
where I was content, by myself, but this is real fun, nice.
But you see the formula? That's a formula. Like you were in a depriving situation that really taught you. And I told you, that was a ticket to love, either to him or it's going to launch you into the next. And you could see the dichotomy right now, can't you?
Yes. Oh my God, it's night and day. And I didn't know how fast I'd be saying that. I'm so grateful the other thing broke down so I could experience this.
See? Yes, baby. Yes. I love that.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade these last few weeks for lifetimes with the other situation.
Right. But that situation got you here. Yeah.
Yes. It made me believe that I'm worth it. Really did.
See how simple that is? See the simple premise?
And I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of this. I'm not afraid of it going away because I already went through, the darkest of darkness by myself, through the winter. And I took that time in my little cocoon to nurture myself and just rebuild, and take that time to be present with all the emotions. And so like now I'm like, I know what will happen. If it goes away, I'll be fine. I have like no more fear. Kind of like Steph. I don't really feel, I'm not afraid anymore.
Oh, so happy. Yes. God, I'm so excited because I just always remember the first session we were at the first session when I first met you, and because I'm like, I knew you're going here. Like when I first met her, I gotta get her here, but she has to go through what she has to go through to get here successfully. And that you're here now is why I'm so excited. I'm fucking excited about that. I love it. You're glowing. You look rested. You look content.
Share that with you.
Call me, text me. I want to hear more.
I'm busy with work too. Money's good. Yeah, everything's good. I just wanted to check in, and I'm also enjoying kind of navigating this one by myself. I appreciated you being by my side with the last one because I didn't have the confidence to move forward with all that opposition energy. But now this one, I'm not letting anyone in. I'm just navigating this one alone with spirit and just taking it day to day. So that's why.
That's exactly right. The training wheels off, baby, and I'm very happy to hear that. So call me. So again, it's not session worthy. You call me, like just text me. I love hearing those. I mean, I know you've taken some time for yourself too, but you're not bothering me. I know because I've been through a move. I know you are taking a step back for that too. But I love to hear these things. Just keep me filled in because I'm so excited, so ecstatic that we're here. I'm just like, yes, I'm so excited that you're here now, and this is a wonderful new start of a paradigm of freedom. Being free, feeling actually free, and free in your relationships, free in your work, free in your locations.
I'm not getting shut down. I'm not getting. He's like nothing phases him. He's very grounded. There's just nothing surprises him.
Look, you match with. We always match with where we are and where we're going too. So you're matched with where you're at right now, and also where you're going. So awesome. Awesome. Yeah. I'm so I don't mean this
really safe in myself too. I think that's where this came in because I'm just like, I'm not allowing anything in that even remotely feels like the last one.
Right. Well, it's good to have that dichotomy, babe. I'm telling you, it's good to have that dichotomy.
Yes.
So
I wouldn't trade the last relationship. I wouldn't trade the experience for anything. It's just, it taught me what makes a failure.
Yep.
So now I know how to make a
success.
Right.
And those who don't know too, because that's why I'm like chiming in, because when you first came to me, I would say most psychics would have told you to leave the relationship, and then you had been like in contention of like going back and forth. I said, no, you have to go with this relationship, see it through. It's going to teach you how to nurture yourself, love yourself, and what you need more of. You have to go through this relationship. And so, and I'm glad that you now know that, and I want others to know that too, because some psychics are like, oh, they're not good if you leave it alone, and they keep repeating the same karma and saying you're attracted to it for a reason. Right, because we're attracted to things for a reason. As long as we're objective and conscious of why we're attracted to it, and if it's good or not for us, we can evolve from it, and then boom, it's our ticket to love. So I don't mean it's condescending in a way, but it's the only way I can express it. But I'm very proud of you, of the work you've done, how you've done it, how you've seen it through. You've taken the time to work with yourself, after our last chat. Like, I'm so proud of you. You've done remarkably amazing through the process. I'm so proud of you. And I mean that, again, as being in love, not...
Support. No, I'm proud of me too. I'm proud
Good.
of me too.
Good.
Thank you. Thanks for your support. That's really all I needed. I didn't need to be told what to do or anything. Just that support.
Yep.
Through that.
And clarity, and making sure the picture stays clear while you're processing emotions. Exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
So thank you.
I love you. Text me. Keep me posted, okay? Keep me in the loop.
Yeah.
All right.
Take care.
Bye, my love.
Bye.
Okay. All right. What happened here? Oh yeah, I'm needing to change. Sorry guys, I'm losing my... We're back. Another, again, success story of movement, and I want those who maybe feel stuck to be inspired by this, saying like, your stuckness isn't permanent. It's all about navigation. If you think you're supposed to go in a direction and things change, then that's not the direction, or there needs to be a detour somehow. Take it this way. Take life that way. It's like, oh, well, there's a detour here. Where am I? Let me follow the detour. That's it. Don't fight against it. Don't be in deprivation about it. Don't stay stuck in it. Don't revel in it, right? So awesome, wonderful, wonderful updates from just amazing people that I hope that they inspire you too. As well. And I'm going to go because it's late, and Nina's clock is running. Nina's time clock is running too. So next week, I'm actually having Brittany Carmichael on as a guest. I don't know if you guys know her. She spoke with at Unite the Light with me last year. Wonderful. She's very much into women's empowerment, but also couples empowerment. Very... is she Leo? I forget. If she Pisces, I forgot her sign. But anyways, very wonderful soul. So we're going to do tag team readings next week, me and Brittany Carmichael. And so that should be fun. And we'll shoot the shit too with her as well. So you get two again. And I just also will have, Chris Reck back on probably in a week. I talked to Chris this week, and we want to collaborate again. So perhaps we'll have Chris Reck the following week. So yeah, stick around for next week. We'll do tag team meetings, her and I, and so that should be really fun too. All right, I love you all. It's time to wrap it up, and I will end with, what should I end with? Do I have something? What can I end with here? So you guys can chat. The commercial. It's a long commercial. I know the testimonials. I have to shorten down my commercials, so it's not the testimonials. It's all I have right now on deck, so I'll just put that on. Y'all can check, but I'll tune in. See you guys next Thursday. And also make sure you check out last night's episode of Leading Out Loud. It was a great episode. We had fun with it. So check that out too. And remember, you're all the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you want to create? Much love. And here's the long commercial so you can continue chatting. All right. Good night, guys.
I just want to say thank you, Scott, for all of your reassurance and guidance. I had a mediumship reading, and you brought my uncle and my mother-in-law forward. And I mean, there was things that you said that nobody would know. Like, it was so accurate. It was insane. And I appreciate the closure that I got and the peace that I felt. And I really appreciate even more that you are a genuine person who truly cares. That made the biggest difference for me. Thank you, Scott.
Hey, I just wanted to take a minute to thank Scott Cruz. He made such a huge difference in my grief. I'm a little bit emotional because he just said things about my husband and my papa that there's no way anybody could have known or guessed. I know my children were skeptical. Scott told me they would visit me, and they both are together, and they have both visited me together. He told me things about my grandchildren, nicknames. There's nothing he could have known beforehand. So I definitely appreciate him, and if you're having any issues, struggling through grief and needing some guidance or just needing to feel okay, talk to Scott.
Hey there, my name is Chad, and over the past 6 or 7 years, I've probably had about 4 or 5 readings with Scott Cruz. He brought up personal things that I don't know how nobody else would know but me, and he brought them up, which was just incredible. And one thing I will say is Scott tends to talk fast, so take notes. I've taken notes since the very beginning because sometimes they don't make sense. He'd said something, it didn't make sense to me. And then a year and a half later, after I had spoken to someone and I reread those notes, I was like, oh wow, Scott nailed it back then. Didn't make sense then, but it made sense as time passed. I was able to find something out. It was just incredible. And the last thing is what I like about Scott is he doesn't seek out fame or fortune from this. He genuinely wants to help people. I thoroughly recommend an appointment with Scott. Go ahead and book it. You won't be disappointed.
Scott Cruz is popularly known for his life-changing one-on-one readings to also guide in your soul ascension journey. With life readings, get insight into your relationships, career, health, trauma healings, past life regressions, and more. Want to connect with a loved one who's transitioned? Scott's mediumship session can be the gateway to you and your loved ones in spirit, bridging the gap between the physical and the spiritual realm. If you want to enhance your own psychic ability, Scott's Intuition Builder session can help expand your psychic and mediumship abilities. So sign on to scottcruzpm.com to book your own personal session today.